But anyway, this is the Geeky Gamer podcast with Ken and Bill. We have a Patreon. I'm not allowed to say give us money because apparently that's in poor taste. So you can get benefits that I don't know about by joining our Patreon or giving us a coffee.
Speaking of, I'm going to have some coffee right now.
Yeah. All lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt. They do some music, Couchfire Media.
They're pretty good.
They do art, media production. Tuarible Productions, they kind of phoned it in the last couple of years. It's
Jesus. We just give them credit up to 2023. We don't.
They just keep going, though.
Yeah.
That's
just
weird.
Cannot be bothered to actually take them off.
Today on the Geeky Gamer podcast, we're going to be talking AI, software, Canadian politics, and maybe some American politics with Cody Johnston.
I so want to talk American politics.
But let's not start there. Let's start with, hey, Cody, welcome to our show. What are you drinking?
Thank you for having me. And I am drinking a nice cold Heineken.
Oh, nice.
Because it's not American and not Canadian, but it's still a good drink.
It's Belgium? Is it German?
I don't think it's German, yeah?
Yeah, Holland.
Holland's Dutch. Oh,
Dutch. Deutschlandian.
I like the light flavor in the green glass. What can I say?
Have you had, is it called Beck?
Yes, I do enjoy Beck. I also enjoy Harp.
Now, see, okay, putting Beck and whatever that stuff is, Heineken, and Harp in the same category is tantamount to heresy.
Well, I also like Guinness.
Just drink Harp. A Guinness? Do you like Smithwick's?
I do not, actually.
You don't like Smithwick's? Oh, you don't like an Irish Red, that's fine. But for real, like if you want to like, I don't know, up your game, like if you want to be like a better person, stop drinking Heineken and Beck.
I mean, whiskey's more my beverage anyways. I just drink beer for the...
Okay.
I'll probably be drinking some Old Forester, which I've been kind of drinking on for a while. I do have Eagle Rare.
I want to say on Monday that was cold, sir.
Yeah, unfortunately, all that comes from early.
It was pretty full, wasn't it?
It was pretty full on Monday.
We did game a little bit. I made some music the other day. It's been like 4 days.
I did get up. Mine is what is it? This Larceny. Yeah. And I mean, I put a hurting on it too. So we probably need to. Anyway,
so since we're on the topic of drinking, can you get any bourbon where you are? Are you?
No, unfortunately not. And one of my favorite bourbons is Four Roses. Great bourbon. Yeah, it's very sad. Although I am happy that Jack Daniels can't be celebrated in Canada anymore because that's like water. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
I'm not
Why
going to
can't
drink
it be
Jack Daniels.
celebrated in Canada?
Oh, because it got taken off the shelves too.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because it's American.
Yeah. Canada's boycotting
Oh.
America right now. Just a little FYI.
All the liquor, all American liquor's off our shelves right now, so we can't.
You
we
can't
buy
get
it.
bourbon. That
Nope.
in and of itself, it'd be like, guys, look, we know we don't like them, but come on, let's just cook us up with the bourbon.
Hey, I can still get Scotch. I can still get
Sure.
whiskey from Ireland. Like, I'm okay.
Get some, Glenlivet? Glenfiddich?
I mean,
Bowmore.
Delmore's awesome. Delmore's is one of my favorite scotches there is. Man, you can't get bourbon though. That's tough, dude. That's tough.
They've been talking about, because I am in Kentucky, quite a bit of how this is very much hurting, or specifically kind of geared towards, and there's been pushback against the powers that be here in the Oval Office.
Yeah, and I see it. Like, a lot of Canadians see what's happening, and they're just
Yeah.
like, okay, like, we understand. And that's one of the things I do want to bring up is, like, Canadians are mad, and they're mad at Americans, but they don't understand that they're mad at Americans. It's like, no, you're not. You're mad at Trump, but you're taking it out on Americans. Like,
I mean, that's like
it's
101.
not the same thing.
That's the trade war. That's the difference between, we've had 3, maybe 4 guests from Canada. And I think we've had really good conversations with Canadians. So I don't take it personally. I would boycott America right now too. I just happen to be living in it, and so it's very difficult.
Whatever, Canada sucks.
Well, and I also worry about, like, it's going to hurt your people along with our people. Like, it just
Sure.
doesn't make sense in any
Sure.
logical sense.
It might actually help me a little bit because I think bourbon is too high, the prices. So if it brings the prices down a little bit,
Lord. And they'll raise the price.
That's fair.
They won't.
Well, you don't even want to know what it costs here for alcohol. Like,
yeah.
your 2.4 of bourbon is like 3 times the price here.
Oh wow. So some
of taxes.
Evan Williams would be $33 there instead of 11.
Canadian
Probably.
dollars more, I think.
Yeah, and Canadian dollars, so it's even more.
Yeah. Huh. That's wild.
It's a lot of toonies, dude.
Yeah,
Look,
a lot of loonies too.
yeah, a lot of loonies in the Great White North. Hating on America is so postmodern.
And easy.
Both
Oh.
people suck my dick. I love America, so eat shit.
I love America too. This is the
You
crazy
gotta
part.
balance it out a little bit.
We love, like, I swear to God, just before any of this, Canadians love going down there and buying, like, shit for cheap. Like, that was our pastime. Like,
Yeah.
we have literally a calling
why I like
for
going to
people
Asia.
who go down there.
Like, their food's so great and the women are cheap. Oh, I love it. I just love going there.
Snowbirds are coined because they're Canadian people who who go to the Florida every year.
Yeah,
Like, fair
yeah.
enough.
I saw some
Florida
some
sucks.
Canadian plates when I was in Florida last
I know they
I
drive
week.
used
down
to go there all the
I-35.
time as a kid.
Jesus, driving down
I've been-
I-75, they're like, get off the road, learn to drive. Okay.
I've been over America more than I've been over Canada, travel-wise.
North south.
Okay.
North, south, never east-west.
Mm-hmm. That's fun. I think of America as east-west mostly, and when I go a little bit north or a little bit south, it doesn't seem like a big deal. But I'm just kind of we're kind of in the middle. You are in Newfoundland. Did I say that
No,
right?
he's in Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Yes, understand Newfoundland.
A newly found land.
I am
That's-
curious Because I always called it Newfoundland, and I was
Newfoundland.
corrected to say it was Newfoundland by
Newfoundland
some people from the
is-
Northeast.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So-
It's just kind of the slur of the words, like misunderstood from thick accents.
But literally, people from there are like, dude, it is Newfoundland. Except they don't
Yeah.
say dude because they're not cool.
Yeah, it's boys, buys, BYS apostrophe
Buys.
buys.
Oh, it sounds Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Buys.
And where is the? Are you from Newfoundland or?
No, I spent the majority of my life in Ontario.
Okay.
Moved between Kingston and Niagara Falls for most of my life. Never don't have family out here. My partner doesn't have family out here. We were just sick of the polarity. We were sick of the cost of things, and we just said, you know what? We have the opportunity. Let's pick a place, and we hopped on a flight to vacation here to see what it's like. Bought our house and never looked back.
What about it did you like, other than the aforementioned?
You get more nature, a lot more nature. So a lot of Newfoundland's crown land. So like 80% of the actual province is like crown land. It's not used by anybody. It's not like we actually have ATV trails.
What's a crown land?
Crown land is what we designate as government-owned land. So
Crown.
you can buy it,
I see.
from the crown. Yeah,
Right.
you can buy it from them, but primarily it's free for everybody to use.
The English
but-
crown?
Land.
Yes, the English crown. We're
So-
still a colony of the British, unfortunately.
It's on the. Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
So
I thought it was. I mean, I knew that the monarchy was still in place, but you're completely autonomous. Like you don't have to. Like if the UK Parliament said, do this, Canada
Yeah.
could be like, not feeling it.
yes, yeah, we have full
Good.
sovereignty. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could, but we have full sovereignty. We've had that for over 150 years. Basically, we asked for it, and they gave it to us.
Well, they had precedents.
Yes, because of what happened. Yeah, they didn't want
Yeah,
that to
what?
happen again.
A lot of places. Like the U.S.
Yeah. Jamaica too,
Yeah, Jamaica.
but
India.
yeah, like it's a nice country. From if you take my experience and my understanding how I learned of Canada growing up, it's a great place. I would say over the last 10, 15 years, we've gone way more American than we should have.
That's an interesting pejorative. Why do you think it's a? Why have you? Explain, please, what that means.
So when I was a kid, a lot of our TV was Canadian TV. We had paid advertisement from our government. I still remember a jingle. Don't you put it in your mouth? Don't you put it in your mouth? Cause you'll make it sick and shout. Like
Okay,
stupid
hold on.
things. Like that used to-
Wait, hold on
yeah.
a second. The jingle you remember from your childhood, from Canada TV, is "Don't you put it in your mouth."
Yes. Because it was a PSA for not putting random things in your mouth as a child. But yes, we had Canadian TV. But as America grew and grew in terms of media presence and even content, like Hollywood blew up, right? So we got a lot of American content into our country as our predominant media too. So we stopped having TV shows like Yvonne of the Yukon, What's Up Andy. Like we had cartoons specifically Canadian focused. Oh yeah, this video.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the video.
Yeah, this is. It's like Muppets. It's okay. I'm not
It
gonna
is
play
creepy as
the
fuck.
the.
Yeah,
We could
because
get
it-
dinged on the audio, but yeah, this
Scared
is
the crap out of me as a kid, right?
this is
So
But I still
frightening.
remember it.
So you're
Yeah.
lamenting losing that because of America. It sounds like we made you free.
Yeah, but you made us
Bring
also
freedom to the
like
world.
not understand our own country.
Right. I'm just being an
Right.
ass. Can you please?
But
That's kind of what happened, I think.
SCTV is influential in America, and so is what it was the Red
I mean,
Green.
a lot of
Red Green, was he
Red Green show?
Canadian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
William
We
Shatner,
had a few.
Trailer Park
Celine
Boys.
Dion.
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah,
I mean,
Trailer
Trains
Park.
is actually a really good one too.
Yeah.
I mean, how many of our movie stars are actually just Canadian?
Right.
A lot of them actually.
Yeah, like all of the comedians. Like it's
and
ridiculous.
And a ton of
Fucking
media.
Patrick Williams Shatner is Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Stargate Atlantis was Canadian.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
was
Stargate is
Want
all
them to
Canadian. All that.
redoing a Stargate right now would be so amazing.
Yeah.
You want to do a redo? See, that's the difference. But no,
No. I would take a remake, a redo, an extension, like anything.
you want to do yeah. Okay, so I would love them to. Did you see Stargate? There's
Origins?
Stargate. No, not Origins. So there's SG-1. There's Atlantis, and then there's Discovery. Is it Discovery?
Universe.
No, there's
Universe.
there's a Universe.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
That's pretty good.
Phenomenal, and they canceled it after one season.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. It's got the dude from, I forget the guy. He's really great actor. British dude. He was basically the bad guy. He was in 28 Weeks Later. I can't think of anything. Oh, and he was in anyway, it doesn't matter. Amazing. Like it took Stargate SG-1, which honestly, when it was coming out, I was like, this is a hokey, terrible show. What did they do to the movie? Well, I rewatched it. I never really watched it because it was like the 2000s, I believe. Never really watched it until about 2021. So a certain period of time when you had a lot of time on your hands. And I can't think of a single episode that is bad in all of SG-1. There's some that are not as good, but I can't think of a single episode that's actually bad.
They kept it episodic. They kept it. Each episode gives you a little bit more information about the whole universe, about the whole thing. Like it was one of the things that was procedural, but was still storyline driven the entire way, and it was beautiful.
It's awesome. SG-1 is great. Atlantis kind of goes up and down. This universe, it is a dark, gritty. It's so good, and I don't understand why they killed it.
Wasn't it the writer's strike as well? I think the writer's strike was going on. Or was it? It was 15 years ago, maybe.
That's 2010. It was after the writer's strike, but I don't know if they were recovered.
There was a writer's strike. Oh yeah, there was one in the 2000 aughts. I think it just didn't. It was a high cost production value. Is
you mean
nowadays? So you could do this on your computer for next to nothing.
Sure. But
Really?
I mean,
like for them to, I can do this right now.
Oh, you
I can create a Stargate universe right now with AI tools. Yeah.
Okay, so Cody, what we need to talk. That's a beautiful segue.
yeah, that's a great segue.
Unfortunately,
Good job.
copyright.
Wow, well done. Okay, fine. Canada can stay.
Honestly, like the age of AI is going to kick Hollywood's ass, because me and you are going to be the ones generating that shit.
You know I'm an actor, right?
He does live in LA.
Hey, do you want me to film you? Like we can set it up. We can get you actually doing the moves for the video, and then I'll overlay everything.
Dude,
Let's do it. Let's do a
It would take a
collab.
little bit of time, but yeah.
sounds like a cocaine conversation, but I would really like to do this. That'd be awesome.
I'll send you guys some tools. We can discuss this as a collab.
Okay, we'll continue. So we segued into AI. You son of a bitch. Let's talk about some AI. It's my favorite subject in the world.
What would you like to know?
Why is it interesting?
Why did you be more generic with your question?
I can kind of actually.
Everyone says the same thing. Oh my God, hold on a second. All right, tell me what I don't know.
Okay, take every profession you know that is done on a computer.
Right.
Now you don't need somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yep. We know
That's
this
why it's
part.
interesting.
What about podcasting?
Yep.
It'll do the same. But the good part about content creation, people crave human interaction. So I don't think this content, this kind of generation from humans, will ever really go away. I think you'll see it amplified. I think we're in a really good time because right now it's starting to emerge. It's still too expensive for the regular user, but it's getting there. So we get to establish the pathways that we're going to take. And we just have to hand it over to the next generation, say, make your content.
What do you
Show us what you can do. What do you mean?
Well, I think
Yeah,
I think one of the to elaborate just a little bit on what you just said. I mean, I've noticed that since I've been a filmmaker and was a filmmaker in the 90s, the prices have gone down, allowing more people to join in and make their own films from camera equipment, which was the biggest buy-in at the time. But even computers then cost $2,000 to do a little editing, a little video, and you would get a 6 gigabyte hard drive, and that was huge for the time, which would do maybe an hour or two of footage.
To put it in perspective, do you know the Terminator movie where they used that massive CG model that came out of the sand and took over the guys on the dune?
Salvation, I believe, with Christian Bale.
Yeah, so they actually crashed the computers generating that model at that time. That's how
ironic.
limited we were in our technology.
Sure.
Now we can render that in 30 seconds with no problem at all, and not even use half our computer.
Okay, so that's I am trying to be difficult, but I am on something here.
Yep.
So imagine that you have obviously seen a lot of what AI can do, and you're in the industry, so you're not ignorant. Now imagine if someone was ignorant. Hi, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to explain it from maybe not 101 but 102. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. What do you not
do?
What can I? Okay.
I know about ChatGPT. I know that it can make, like Ken has told me, he uses Wizardry to do our YouTube shorts and a few other things that people do, like images I've seen on YouTube. I've seen some bad movies that are getting better and better and better, although hands seem to be a problem. There's still the uncanny valley type thing that's going on. A lot of interesting stuff, a lot of Instagram reels where you're like, wow, that kind of looks real, that fat person flying through the savannah or whatever the fuck that reel is. I didn't make it up. It's viral.
Yeah. So why don't you open up my YouTube channel and click on one of the non-English versions?
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak anything but English, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's super amazing what you've done on your YouTube channel, because it's basically you've got here.
I'm trying with the thumbnails a little bit here.
Yeah, you've got some AI thumbnails. But it looks like you have communicated in 8 different languages, and then if you watch the videos, and I can play it with the sound on if you want, it looks like you're saying the words in that language,
In my voice, yep.
in your voice, and with the sound quality. It's unbelievable. Well, let's do the English one first, so we have an understanding. And here, I'll turn it up.
I also apologize for me being in an hoodie.
Yeah,
what?
You're.
It was my first video. It was my comfort armor. I kind of needed something to get going.
These are awesome. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. Let me see if I can get the audio correct.
It's hot.
I'm gonna turn up. You're not gonna ding us for like copyright, are you?
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Oh shit.
how people are stuck in their own heads. So here's a story that's the personal. And,
So
Hold on 1 second.
that is a green screen behind you, yeah?
Yes.
Not just a wildly painted wall.
When I was in college,
No.
I had a.
So
I just
are
found
you?
college
I mean,
was-
Well,
it's
hold on. Let's
I know.
listen to this.
Alright,
You got to
guys-
listen to him. Can you hear it?
Dead. I can't do shit. No.
You got to turn up the volume on the watch stream, or
It's not working.
Right, like
oh,
we all,
Doesn't work.
I actually waited
I could do it a
year
different
before
way.
college
I
just
can-
so I could drink.
okay.
Right,
You
like-
guys talk with
Can I hear it on the
yourselves.
screen?
The party.
Yeah, let me see.
Yeah,
Let's
they
see.
can. You can hear it on the stream, but like,
Oh.
I can
Well, I'll
reroute
just
it.
listen to it.
Oh, but it does have a delay. Here, let me share it differently.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's a delay. It doesn't have to be in. All right, fine. I'll watch
Can
it
you
over here.
Can you see it with my other share?
Yep.
Because sometimes it doesn't work well.
Say yes. I didn't know you could share. Oh yeah, because you have two accounts. You know, I program, but for some reason, like I'll use these applications and I do not know what I'm doing.
All right, do you hear it now?
Give them
Uh,
the authentic me. And the best way I could have done that was with liquid courage, alcohol.
yeah, now
So,
none of
yeah,
them works.
I went to.
I'll just listen to it over here, dude.
To become a
All right.
programmer
It's
and party hard.
I've already heard it, so I don't.
Like a lot of
really need to hear
kids
it.
do when they go to school. So anyways, I met this guy. He was older than me in residence, and he really took me under his wing. Like he was a very good friend through a lot of shit. I had I got my heart hurt while I was there.
Right, so it's a
made lot of
dude,
friends
Cody, talking in
that-
English.
So yeah, so he's talking in English, but like, all right, we're about
Yeah.
2 minutes into this.
Oh, wow.
We're about 2 minutes into this conversation, where he's talking about his friend and some shit that happened. Now, if I go back, and I'm gonna pick, like, what, Russian or Ukrainian or
Ukrainian.
Just do one.
all right, I'll
Oh
pick
my
Japanese.
God.
I haven't seen the or is what is this?
Chinese. It's Mandarin.
Mandarin, Chinese. Clearly, I don't know what I'm
我
talking
在那里
about.
的时候，心受伤了。然后交了很多朋友，但其实他们并不是真正的朋友。但当时我并不知道，我真的以为我做得很好。这个家伙照顾了我，他是个好人，带我去参加我第一次的音乐会，带我去看了 The Truth。他只是他真的很想帮忙，而且他真的是个好朋友，而且
Yeah, it's impressive.
And then on top of that, if you go to my
我们当了
Instagram,
很长时间的好朋友。
all of
我
my
们有一个
clips
朋友团体
take 30 seconds for me to get every single one of my clips with AI.
I don't know what that means. It sounds great. It sounds fast, but I don't know. So I guess this is what I'm asking. So, you're doing a science experiment, right? You got to have the control. So you're giving me like the product. Hey, check this out. And I'm like, great. That sounds cool. I need to know the control. I've got to have a comparison. And you being in the industry, doing this, knowing what it's like to not have AI as a tool, you understand how far it's come and how much time it's saving and all this. But other people don't have the control, right? So I need to know something to juxtapose this to, right?
Yes.
Take you
So
30 seconds to do what? Boom. And then if you didn't have that AI tool, what would you have to do?
So if I didn't have that tool, I'd have to. So for just talking audio translations, I'd have to find somebody that speaks that language. I'd have to get them to audio record in that language. Then I would have to put it on the video, and there would be no way I could make my mouth move, or it'd be the same voice as me. Not a way possible. Because
You
the only
could
way
do
I could
it.
do that is if I spoke it.
You could do it, but that's a lot of rotoscoping.
Yes, like individually mapping my mouth movements to the actual sounds. It's a lot of work. And to be able to do this in 20, 30 minutes and to change the entire language of my video is absolutely astounding.
So as an application, for example, of this, you could have like a Hunt for Red October movie or something where the actors are doing it all in their normal language, and then in post they just flip it around as whatever they want. So someone is actually speaking the language, or same way you just took the dubbing industry and threw it out the window.
Yes.
So voiceover
the dubbing industry is done. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, VO is gone.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, you could just say, hey, here's a cartoon. If someone had signed a document, take Sarah Silverman, for example. I don't know why, I just saw Wreck-It Ralph, and I like her character a lot. You could just be like, hey AI, do all these lines from this script in Sarah Silverman's voice.
Yep.
And it would work.
Yes.
Now, granted, the performance wouldn't be there. I mean, it would probably be believable, but
yes.
Would it be good? As in, would it be like she makes that movie, in my opinion, right? I like the movie, and
it is still lacking in the empathetical side of things. Like, it's still lacking in emotional intelligence, but we are so close to that. Like, I'm talking next 6 months, we'll have something similar to emotion in AI. Because that's how fast we're going. We're taking the last 40 years where we industrialized, we became this society and became like built the internet, and now condensing the next 40 years into 5.
Does it already get your inflection though? I mean, did you intentionally kind of have this as a relatively monotone story, or did you bring up your inflection or down your inflection? I kind of listened to the whole story. It's a meandering story, but I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But you basically gave them. You said, "Here's the English." You recorded yourself in English, and then you typed what you said, or did you even have to type it out?
Nope, didn't even have to type it out.
So you just said, "Can you translate this to another language?" And it put it just took what you said and translated it. Did you ever translate it back from the other language back to English to see if it gets intent correct, or is it there yet?
It is a little bit lossable. Like, it does have a little bit of packet loss here or there. Like, it doesn't pick it up entirely, but the inflection, the tone, everything's still the same. Like, when you flip it out, it's scary.
The Chinese. So what I was saying before is, I'm not fluent, but I speak Mandarin, and like, I could understand what you were saying. It sounded like a Canadian speaking Mandarin. So you have the accent, oddly enough, it's not a Chinese accent. I mean, it's close, but like it sounds like a foreigner speaking Chinese, which I thought is interesting. Like,
so the way
they're using their vowels is the issue.
The way that I understand how it works is, they essentially analyze how your voice inflects while you're talking, and they extract it into the audio, like where you're getting the fluctuations in the audio fluctuations, and then the actual words themselves, and then they try and match those fluctuations with your voice to different text, essentially. And then it actually has what's called an auto validator. So it goes through another system where it runs it through and makes sure that everything's correct, everything sounds correct with them. And it takes time and does that. It's actually very impressive.
It's not on the fly. It's something that's done right now. It needs processing first. Yes. Then you can post it. So we could not be switching ourselves back and forth. Okay, but how long do you think it'll take for us to get to that?
Actually, we already have that. Not in computer form yet, like not in this, but these are called time kettles. They are translator earbuds, and they essentially work like ChatGPT right now. So
They're
as we're having a conversation, I have the earbud in, you have an earbud in, and it will translate in real time.
They're like babblefish.
Yeah.
Good. I'm really glad that I didn't have the stick-to-itiveness enough back about 10 years ago to become a translator, because I nearly did. I nearly became
I
that.
almost did too, actually.
Yeah.
I wanted to go study in Japan.
So Ken, you got a bunch of questions I know. Language is my jam. I'm gonna take this over. So please.
It is a language question, because I worked in post-production, or still do, and I've done multiple multi-language films, and I had to have an interpreter sitting next to me while editing this content. I did a Thai English film, and I did a Hebrew English film, and like I understand Spanish enough not to where I could edit it that well, but it's a Latin language. When you get into Thai or Chinese or non-Latin based languages, it's impossible to. I don't even know where the word ends. It's half the time. Unless it's like Russian, I kind of. Okay, that's a word.
It's just impressive where we've come, but it's taking from all of that too. Like AI has been built with every job in mind, right? Like they've gone to the experts and trained on these types of things to make sure that they're correct. And on top of that, if you pay for their business version, which is like 10-15 grand, they actually give you human people as well to look over your videos if you need to. But that's because the business version is unlimited time frame for videos. So we're still worrying about length. Right now, our problem is we don't have the processing power to keep the length going. So we're still working on that problem.
So
and the power.
When you say we,
I'm in like the tech industry at large.
Okay, so Cody, who are you? We normally lead with that question.
All right, so I'm a software developer of about 10 years. My background is in why am I blanking on this? My background is in the Ontario government, working for the Ministry of Transportation, building applications to service the public. So I got a lot of government knowledge on top of the tech knowledge. And currently I'm just working as a software developer for a financial firm. While I'm doing this, I'm hoping to launch this eventually. And
launch what?
Launch my channel. The Weird Canadian. I want to launch that. I want that to be my business because it's what I'm passionate about. I finally figured out who I am and what I want to do.
And what does the Weird Canadian do?
The Weird Canadian is kind of, how do I phrase this? What I want to do is kind of give perspective to Canadians. Like I'm trying to, right now, because of everything that's happened in the States and because we're so American, Canadian-esque, a lot of Canadians don't understand how our politics work. So we're putting American standards to Canadian politics. It doesn't work that way. Like our premier or our prime minister doesn't have the power to just sign an order and it become law, right? Like we have to go through due process.
Ours doesn't
either. Yeah. But like we can't even do that. Like we can't sign it and even get anywhere with it. Like that does nothing. Like it doesn't even go to our courts because it's just a frivolous thing.
Yeah, there's no executive orders, is what you're saying.
Yes, it doesn't change anything. It just kind of makes everybody think you've done something. So that's the problem right now is everybody's like, oh, like the Conservative Party is anti-trans, the Liberal Party is crumbling and just ridiculous. The NDP is too idealistic and they want too much, and nobody hears from the Green Party. NDP is the New Democratic Party, so it's our liberal.
You got the CDC and the NDP. Is that correct?
CPC.
CPC. Something.
Canada.
Conservative.
Yeah, Progressive Conservative.
CCCP is Soviet.
The Russian party.
But yeah, my channel is more for just kind of highlighting, like, we need to stop arguing about stupid shit that doesn't affect us and start actually conversing as a people to make progress.
Sure.
Arguably, that's actually what a lot of people in the U.S. are saying. They're just saying it with words that make everybody mad.
Yeah,
Like,
and I really want to get away from the mad. I want to bring happiness and hope.
Well, this all sounds good, but I think we can dig deeper. But Ken, this is more your platform anyway. So please
no,
go.
it's not. No, I was just gonna say, like, Canadians like have gone like have a an appearance of being really super fucking nice to other people. That's the appearance.
Say for the Inuits and
yeah, well, I mean, First Nations got screwed everywhere.
people in Montreal,
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Like
they
Spanish,
got screwed everywhere.
America, yeah, no, it's just, that is a terror. That is a terrible thing.
Is it okay to say Inuit?
Yeah, I know.
I'm not trying to be racial here.
No. It's kind of hard for anybody to know. The official word is indigenous. They don't care. Like, they do, but they don't. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're being nice to them, they don't give a shit.
That's the thing. I have met several indigenous people, and they were like, "I'm an Inuit," and we have multiple tribes and all these things. And then it's like the very ultra liberal white Americans that are like, "How dare you refer to them?" And I'm like, "Go drink a latte."
Yeah, I don't.
They don't talk to them. They don't talk to them. That's the problem, right? There's no communication, so they don't know any better.
Right. Okay. What about people from Montreal?
I do want to go to Montreal. Like, of all of Canada, like, I would love to go to. I would love to go to Montreal.
Montreal and Quebec are a beautiful province. I'll give it that. Our spat with Quebec has always been built around Quebec's always wanted to be their own country.
Oh, yeah, Quebecois.
Yeah.
And most of Canada has stopped speaking French, I guess, their secondary language, and they're getting really pissed off because they feel like they're losing the language. But it's just English is the language of the world right now. Like, we have to be that way in order to converse with everybody. But I get it. It's like, yeah. So there's this image of fighting, but if you actually talk to any of them, they're good people. You try to speak French to them, and they will respect the fuck out of you. As long as you try, they don't care. That's all. That really boils down how Canadians are. As long as you respect us, say please, thank you, excuse me, we don't fucking care.
What if we slap tariffs on everything?
No, then we care.
Yeah, I feel like you're jumping ahead. Like, I wanted to stay back in the language model of
I am
this
actually
AI
interested.
product.
Indeed.
I think you're just kind of plowing through, and
I know, it's just so interesting.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back to the geeky part of things before we get into the this is shit we all fucking deal with.
Yeah.
And that none of us control, and we don't have the depth of or power to really put our voices in, other than participating. So with this AI generative thing that you've created on your YouTube page, which is mind blowing. When I first watched it, I'm like, he didn't just freaking do that. Can you talk about the process? Can you talk about you shot a video of yourself in English?
Yeah. So this was kind of my first attempt at that. Actually, I'm very impressed at how well it went, because I bought all these tools thinking, hey, these will be great. I haven't actually used or tested any of them yet. So like I have subscriptions that are just kind of doing nothing.
Sure.
But
What are the tools?
I have too many. This one in particular is using Sintra AI. It's using ChatGPT and it's using HeyGen.
In Cajun?
HeyGen, H-E-Y Gen, G-E-N.
Laissez les bons temps rouler, right? Bad joke. Anyway, so when you are you what?
Sure.
I'm just gonna reiterate Ken's question. What's the process?
Yep. So I just film whatever I'm doing. I can edit the video beforehand, so I get everything ready beforehand. The video is completely done in English, and then all I do is I upload it to HeyGen, select the languages I want to put it in, and then it goes and takes its time, converts all of them to every language, and then I just download them. And then I use a tool. Then I use ChatGPT to take the transcript, my English transcript, and then write a post for me for like the description of the video, using YouTube's best practices, giving the image that I want to do that, and then I just go and upload them. And then for the thumbnails, I'm actually using a AI software it's called Spotter Studios. It's the YouTube creator studios, essentially. They're really trying big right now to get buy-in. But essentially, you can build your ideas for your videos in their area where they use AI to like take from your previous videos to build on your new ones and things like that. And it generates ideas for you, content, thumbnails, hooks, titles,
Sure.
everything. So yeah, like I just use a variety of tools, and then it's pretty simple. You just throw them through them and then just upload wherever you need them.
The thumbnails, though, I mean, they are getting the hands mostly right, but there's definitely some issues with the hands on the thumbnails.
Yeah.
And clearly AI has a style. With your thumbnails, which I can speak to, it looks like AI has created them to me. I mean, they look like, AI generated.
The first one took me a while to get. But once I had the English version that I knew I wanted, it was easy to just say, I want this, but give me this version. But give me this version. But give me this version. And it just goes and does it.
And so you just
text is very hard in imagery.
absolutely.
AI though. So
if you look at any of the GGP our Geeky Gamer podcast thumbnails, they're all very unique because they're not AI generated.
Yeah, a lot of them are really good. There's one that has both of us with like sunglasses, and I was like, I wasn't wearing sunglasses.
No, I put sunglasses on you. I was
cool.
just like,
They look cool. I was like, I kind of want those sunglasses.
Little swirlies because we're getting hypnotized. We're getting like
to
transcendent.
To get a little bit deeper, I'm actually going to be. I invested in some AI glasses so that I can have my transcript running right in front of me while I'm talking in the video.
And
I can.
Go ahead. So it gives you an idea of okay, yeah, those are. Do you need any kind of coding for any of this? It seems like you're just or subscription. You've got you said subscription fees. What is that?
Yeah.
What is that cost?
So I buy by the year. I refuse to buy by the month.
Sure.
So for HeyGen, oh boy, what did I pay for this? About $1,000. But that only gets me 30-minute videos. So if I want a longer video, I'm gonna have to cut it up, throw it through again.
100%. It's a 30-minute because we use AI to edit our long form into short form, and it's kind of bad. But I think that Bill and I will do we could do a reaction video. The three of us, I would be interested in kind of seeing what you thought about
what you're doing. I don't.
But you get 30 minutes total for the year, or is it 30 minutes a month? Is it 30 minutes
30 minutes per video. So I get unlimited videos per year.
Okay.
30 minutes is the time frame. It's also capped at 180p, so I can't do 4K videos like my original. So my original will always be in 4K, but until I can get the enterprise, it'll always be 480p or 1080p for all the others. But it comes with faster video processing. It also comes with what's called avatars. So I can actually generate my own avatar, have it say whatever I want on video, doing all of this, exactly the same thing. But I don't have to be there and do it. I can 100% use something AI generated.
How
So yeah, it's a
realistic?
great tool.
How realistic is that avatar? Is do you think this is an avatar? I mean, she looks a little bit
This is an
Definitely
avatar.
an avatar.
not quite real. She's not quite human.
It hasn't got, so they are still working on it. Like all of these tools are still being worked on. Like they're still fresh, but they're getting so much buy-in that they're accelerating at fast paces. So
It's like Gal
I said,
Gadot.
6 months we're gonna have ridiculous. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, well, let me go get some more coffee, go cry, right? And then I'll be right back.
But this is what the tech industry is saying. Like AI generated avatars are now going to be the new podcasters, the new TV show hosts, that kind of thing.
Well, they're not going to be as sardonic as me. They'll never reach my level of disdain towards communities and myself. My ability to process a lot of this shit is very difficult because I am a visual effects artist and I've done visual effects for Disney and for Marvel Comics and stuff like that, and it takes a long fucking time to and an assortment. Like a lot of fucking people work on this shit, and not to cuss, but that's what I'm doing because I'm pissed. I was angry when they would download the content for free. Now they can make it. Now people can just make it. They don't have to have any kind of special skill. They didn't have to go to college. They don't have the debt of going. I mean, it's fine because we're getting rid of education, so it's we don't need it. But
if you want to look up LTX Studios.
Yeah, let's look at that up.
So this is one that I wanted to, but this is way out of my depth. Like this is, you need a videographer to really know how this tool works. But it is amazing for what it can do for video generation.
Looks like I can start for free. I mean, stuff like this that is intentional is very difficult. I've noticed that and my ability to create images and videos and stuff like that, I can do very specific things that AI has been a little loosey-goosey with. But if this content is AI created, you know, it's certainly taken things that I've done in the past and probably exploited that work.
Yep.
You know, not just my work, but work of,
Exploited everybody's work. And OpenAI really opened that door of forums by like not telling anybody that they were doing that. Just
Sure.
But
And
I honestly think copyright is gonna the AI industry more than anything else right now because I know it takes a lot for creations to be built and everything. But once they're out in the world, I have a hard time being like, it's still yours. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Because it takes on a form of itself. Like this is going to sound very bad to J.K. Rowling, but like she should have no right to go back and say, no, this is how our characters were, because the world's been built and everybody's explored it and done their own thing to it. So to me, the Harry Potter world is whatever the viewer wants it to be, not the creator. Because even when you're building something, you're building it for a user, how they're going to interact. You're creating something for them, not for yourself. Right? That's just my take on it. So I think copyright is really gonna have to take a back seat when it comes to content creation.
Well, sure, but it's on YouTube. That's kind of the thing that taking other people's work and then adjusting it slightly. That's that's what a lot of the viral content is anymore anyway. It's just remixing other
that's all
people's
our
stuff.
content. Like Firefly, like look at Star Trek, Star
Yep.
Wars, we do it all the time. We just
Sure.
put labels on it to say, hey, it's ours, it's mine. Like,
When I was younger and cooler, they would take my videos and remix them and do things with. I was kind of blown, like, why? This is what I want, and they're like making their own, and I don't know. Anyway, I think Harry Potter would have benefited from AI because the first film, and I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, I was a little old for that, but the first film, they had the animations, great, like they had the visual effects group. As the films went on, they kind of phoned it in a little bit more and more, just like the Marvel or whatever. And like they didn't even animate the paintings in the background, film 2, film 3, film 4.
but that's because they needed more, like it costs more to build that stuff, right? Like, because now you set a precedent, so now you have to pay more. Like there's no going back. You can't start from the same budget. You've got to always go bigger, and that just doesn't make sense because you can make things just as good with the same amount or less money. It's just getting the buy-in, getting the people to do it properly, and like dealing with the economies and everything to do with all of that. Like the world is very complicated, and it gets very hard to maneuver around those things.
And with your experience with the Hey Gen website, not to go back from that, we do a lot of immersive storytelling with and we'll throw up images as we do gameplay. I'm wondering if there's a certain point where we could throw it into the Hey Gen and have it develop us into the backgrounds itself. Is that something that Hey Gen would do, or another AI generator?
So the AI generators for video games are taking a little bit longer because you're rendering things in more dimensions than just like what you see on video.
Well, it's not a video. We don't do video games. We're doing tabletop role-playing games. So we're doing.
So it's like
it's like this, only we're fiction. Mm-hmm. So it's just pretend like we're fiction. Take this specific podcast that we're in right now. I mean, I'm showing a web page, and there's the three of us in here. Like if this ran through a filter, it would clean up the edges that we have. I'm in a little box with a green thing around it. I mean, I could do a mat over this, but really, who has the time for anything? But if we just process through our podcast through AI, it would make it perfect and take out all the ums and ahs and dead air.
So there's another tool called Opus Clip. Sure, you guys have heard of it.
we use Opus Clip, which, in my opinion, do you want to do a watch party on the Opus Clip?
Sure, let's go.
All right, you guys talk, and I'll set it up.
I'm promoting the hell out of us. Sorry, going into the old all the Discord servers and doing self promo. That would just you should have a self promo on your Discord server. Okay, so you do traffic stuff with Canada's government.
The Ontario. So I did with the Ontario government. I left about a year ago.
Provincial government. So I have been known to moonlight with some of the state transportation cabinet. And have you heard of Shift, or I guess for you it would be CA-RAP, R-A-P? I think surely there's a Canada version of this. There's a US, there's a China. Anyway, roadside assessment project is what.
Okay. Yeah.
So did you draw maps? What were you working on?
So funny part, I worked for like an advanced part of the government. I actually worked for a company inside the government, which is weird.
Sure.
I say it out loud. But what we did was actually worked for a few different ministries. My main focus was the Ministry of Labor. So building applications to help
Okay.
take
So you
in
were programming.
business reports. Yeah.
Yeah, you were programming. Okay, well, pretty much what the stuff that I've done is, or have worked on, specifically using AI and deep learning models to attempt to automate a lot of these droll data entry, projects. And so the idea is that you could, governments will have just an incredible amount of information, right, in databases about, let's say, anything you can think of with traffic.
Yep.
Can you analyze that and tell them what to spend money on? That's the whole goal.
Yes, we already have that. We started that build 2-3 years ago. And what we're doing is we are rolling out cars that actually map the entire highway. So they take pictures of the highway. They're just going to drive across it and map it. And what that'll do is take the condition of of what the condition of the roads are, and then our overhead. Like, I think every year they're going to take a picture with these cars and just keep on feeding up the data, and that'll tell us when to repave, when to do these things.
Right.
That kind of thing. And I know we're also doing plate reading with AI right now.
I'm sorry, what?
Plate reading, like car plates.
Oh, sure. Yeah, well, yeah. So, when you talk about a connected vehicle, right? So a connected automated vehicle, CAV, for anyone who wants to know. I didn't know anything about this until I started the project. There's levels 0 through 5 of this. So like Tesla would be, they claim to be a 3, but it'd be more like a 2 or a 2.5. The idea being to have a fully autonomous vehicle, you can't have old data. You have to have real-time data, right? So there's got to be a vehicle to infrastructure thing going on. So, like Google cars that like take video of the, the terrain and all this stuff. That's awesome, to have as a database. But I'm talking about like right now information.
Yeah, aside from, so our infrastructure we've built and maintain, but we don't upgrade all that often.
Right.
Because we don't have money.
So you're not communists, so you don't upgrade stuff. I get it. I'm serious.
So yeah,
I'm 100% serious.
But yeah, no, it's just kind of we refuse to update, and we really do. Like we have one major highway that gets us across of Canada, right? Like we have one railway that gets us across Canada.
You do have a railway, though. That's nice.
Oh, we've got railways that they don't move very fast, but we do have them.
They are there. They're more for freight, though. It's not very many.
Yeah, freight. It's not a people thing. I mean, there's Amtrak. It kind of does. But Canada's taken our model of the Canada of the big roads, like the 8 lanes or the 4 lanes, a bunch of cars, malls, big sprawling.
Listen, don't blame the U.S. for Canada's mistakes. Okay, it's not our fault that they've done whatever they've done.
I blame a lot of Ontario for Canada's.
Yeah. I mean, is that a thing though? Like, America is mostly strip malls and like the same 7 restaurants. I watch a couple of Canadian YouTube channels, and they seem to have the same 7 restaurants. Maybe it's a Fuddruckers
we have
or
a few
something.
different variations. We also have like a few things that you don't have, and we don't have.
A Bojangles. Yeah.
We don't have an In-N.
Yeah.
You don't have a what?
We don't have an In-N-Out.
You won't get one though, because they don't freeze their meat.
But neither does Wendy's.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, they get meat from different sources, I guess. I won't eat at Wendy's.
In-N-Out's just that you won't eat at Wendy's?
I won't.
What the hell's
you
wrong
burn
with
me
you?
once, shame on you. You burn me like every time. I'm not going.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't get the Wendy's, dude. There is something strange about Wendy's. You can literally mix any of the food together and it tastes good.
I
love dipping the fries in my Frosty.
Yeah, that's all right. All right.
It's a thing, and why is that?
Oh, I don't know. It's just I feel like it started as a dare. Some kid was like, "Do this."
No, it was my
and now
brother.
it's like,
It was my brother. My brother was like, dip your junior bacon, whatever, in your frosting. I was like, that's gross, dude. I was like 8, and
It's
then
pretty good.
totally. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is amazing. And people fucking stole his idea. It's
well,
genius.
it's propagated around.
Wow.
It's just but we're really trying to get away from chains. Like, this is one of the problems we have, is because these chains exist, we can't bring anything new in. We can't get any buy-in for anything new, right? Like, and right now we're really suffering because all of our supplies are shared between our two countries. So like, we have to scramble to find whatever we can use. So actually, it's really good that this has happened, because we've actually put priority on building entrepreneurship and businesses in Canada. So I'm hoping we can really establish a bigger impact in them.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
aside from
yeah.
bourbon, what are you missing? But I think we should go back to the AI thing, because I think that's where we should be.
Yeah. I actually don't know a whole lot of what we're missing. I boycott, but like, I boycott as like, I don't buy anything anyways. So, but yeah, I don't think it's too much.
Where are these AI companies based?
Well, a lot of them are either the United States or Europe or Australia or China. Like, I'm not going to differentiate a service I buy. If it's good, it's good.
Interesting. So
This
why?
is
I'm not getting
for-
tariffed. I'm not getting tariffed on my software.
Not yet. I see. So you're boycotting just based on the tariffs and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. It's a natural thing.
But
And
we
I
also
think-
kind of needed it because our economy has really sunk.
yeah.
Because everybody just goes to the States, buys it there.
The thing is that, and I say this a little bit ironically, but the Canadians and the Americans were kind of the same people.
Yeah.
We're really not that different, guys.
No, but we did have a war, and we burnt down
Oh,
your
yeah, there were a couple wars.
So
America
I mean,
really
come on.
failed on those wars. I mean, we attacked Canada. We're like, this is our new country, and then
So,
you know what?
one of the biggest things I'm proud of Canadian history is we don't like to fight, but when we do, we stand up.
Yeah.
Like World War II, like we just came in, we were like, we need to help,
Yeah, rock.
and we do it efficiently.
That's
And just go home.
Canadians definitely. Well,
But
you
who
know,
knew that World War III would be the U.S. versus Canada?
I don't think it'll come to that.
I hope
think,
not.
I
I
think
really
a
hope
lot
not.
of your people will stop. Like, a lot of
Yeah.
your people will
No,
stand
we'll be
at the border
fighting
and be
here
like, "Don't fight."
first. It'll be just
No,
like a
they won't
Handmaid's
do
Tale.
that, but-
I don't know if you've ever seen a Handmaid's Tale, but
Not yet,
it'll be
no.
like that here. We'll be fighting first here.
Yeah.
Well, I did.
No, we just
I
want
did
those
buy my
rare-
first gun. So
Those scrumptious rare earth materials of Russia is what we're looking for.
Yeah,
but we have a lot of that here.
you do. See, I mean,
So
I
you-
worry. I definitely worry about a lot of things. I
How
think
many
we should
Trump
stick to
hotels
the.
do you have there?
I don't
There
even
you
think we
go.
have any in Toronto.
There you go. I just watched a YouTube thing. Imagine that. I'm in my 40s and I watch YouTube, and I'm a dude. And is it Vice? You guys have probably seen it. They'll do these little mini documentaries, and they'll have like an expert, and they'll say, "Hey, this is a criminal expert that's been doing it for 15 years, answering people's questions." I forget the channel. If you were to type that in, you would probably find them though. Anyways, this woman, and she's a historian, and she has studied dictatorships for the last 15, 20 years. And I will say there is a bent. About halfway through, I was listening for it. Like, at what point are they kind of like switching the narrative to not talk about the obvious?
Yeah.
And they do kind of do that. But she says a lot of historical things, with historical figures. And she's like, this is the nature of a dictatorship and why they do what they do. And, whatever your politics are, there are some undeniable ideas, right?
Mhm.
Donald Trump wants to be a dictator. That's it. So that's where I hope that we oust that idea.
I'm really interested to see where your next 4 years go, because while he is trying to become a dictator, he's still like smashed a lot of things, and I'm interested to see how they get rebuilt.
I'm
think
hoping it's 2 years and that we do something now. So
there's going to be a war.
can
Joe pushed for.
we go back?
Well, I want
just
to finish.
back to the-
Yeah,
I
go
want
ahead.
to finish my thought, and then
Yeah.
there's gonna be a war, or I think the real thing is, does he attempt to do a third term?
Yeah,
I will.
yeah. I think there's some problems with the third term Trump, but he's also going to be 1,500 years old. So
That's true. I think he's 1,500 actually.
But we're
Yeah,
also
and
very close to longevity pills, so
yeah,
What's a longevity pill? Like you're talking about
like stuff to increase our lifespan. Like we already have pills for
AI
dogs
too?
and cats right now. Nope. Well, it's AI's helped do it, but yeah, we
Fuck
have
AI.
the ability to. We're gonna live to 150.
You think so? So what are these longevity pills?
I
Tell
would
me
have
about
to drink
immortality.
less than apparently this much in a week.
So-
That's longevity pills right there. Too.
I've seen tech in China, in Japan, and in Korea, but they have pills to help you exercise. They have pills to extend, so from what I understand, it actually resets your cells. So instead of dying out like they're normally supposed to, it actually refreshes them to the beginning of their life cycle. So
Okay.
that's how we die out. It essentially takes like how do I explain? In the DNA, like it shortens as we grow, right? Like the DNA strand kind of like gets decrepit. Think of it as data loss, right?
Sure. Yeah.
What it
You get
does
little
is
So many copies it starts. Yeah.
Corrupt
yeah,
packages.
so yeah, and then what it does is it takes whatever's good, analyzes that, and then maps out what's missing and refreshes that.
Mhm.
And then essentially it just restarts your cycle all over again because you're starting cell. It dies, it now just refreshes.
Which
Yeah.
means
From what I
The
it's kinda like when you're a
Asgardians from
vampire.
Stargate did that.
Well, they were cloning though.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean that it started out maybe a little less
did, like
invasive, and then
eugenics.
it progressed.
that is
it
eugenics,
just
I
like yeah, for sure.
like we're gonna see a lot of shit in our lifetime.
I
It's
haven't
just
taken any
absolutely
pills.
astounding.
Is it Eli?
Oh no, they're not. No, they're all still being trialed out. Like these are just white papers and
Yeah.
like people working in labs right now, but they're coming.
Well, it's gonna be
Yeah.
like a vampire, right? Like you stay at the age you start the pills. So like if you wait too long, you're like 80, you're like an 80-year-old vampire. That
But
sucks.
we also don't know. Maybe when it refreshes you to like the optimal age, right?
Sure.
Does it also sterilize you?
I would hope so, because we deal with so much overpopulation otherwise.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well-
I'm actually yeah.
But I'm already sterilized, so I don't have to worry about it.
They already replaced
Canada.
people's blood. Olympians, that's already a thing.
Really?
Like yeah, for sure. Especially if you're an Olympian that like goes up to altitude, like you change altitude places. I think they do some blood replacement because you won't be able to perform as well
Well,
because
like,
you're
suck
not used to
blood
the
of
oxygen.
virgins or something, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean they're donors. They're they're donor children.
Fucking vampires.
I'm just thinking of who is it? There was a queen who bathed in baby blood.
Mary? No,
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
it wasn't Antoinette. I'm wrong. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Then again, let's forget her name.
Yeah.
Probably best.
Fuck her.
So is that channel that you were talking about the Dwarkish Patel? Is that correct? Dwarkish? Is that that's her-
Dorcas?
Dwarkish? Maybe I'm wrong about that. No, that's
Oh,
not
you're talking
him.
about what I. That's a
Yeah,
dude.
this
Ken.
lady. Yeah, this lady. The Sarah Payne.
No, she is awesome though.
Yeah.
She is awesome. She talks on a whole lot of different subjects, and she's very. She's just extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that woman rocks and rolls. I am talking about someone else though, but
Oh,
I'll find it.
I
She's
thought
great.
that's her.
She's great.
Because
What's
we've
her
talked
name?
about her before in the Sarah
Yeah.
Payne.
Sarah Payne. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think she's a historian. I think I've watched.
She's a
several things she's
historian.
done.
Yeah, she talks about history and brings it to current.
Really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
She talks about
Well,
because she does it in a way that is not
No.
like it's not necessarily towing the line. She's like, this is what happened, and we might think this about, let's say, the Greeks, but actually they were also doing this or whatever. Pretty cool stuff.
She probably doesn't
Yeah.
get into the Roman Empire though. Just
I think it goes. I mean, who knows? Who knows where she goes? But I think it definitely
you'll
relates
know what I
to
was going for.
my.
Hey, Ken,
Yeah.
we're on live on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Our thumbnail is the linen tapestry.
Yeah, I believe it. If I don't update it, like I can update it right now. Fine. It happens.
Someone's gonna be sorely disappointed if they're looking for the
I mean,
linen
but
tapestry.
this actually leads me to my next question. Is as I'm changing this, because it only took me a second to change the thumb. What does AI do? Like, what about misinformation and disinformation when it comes to like how AI interprets information?
So it hallucinates. It definitely does that. So it doesn't always get it right because it's competing with itself essentially. But it's got so much going on. Essentially, think of a brain that's thinking of a million different things at once, right? Like you're going to have some bleed over.
ADHD brain.
Pretty much.
I know
yeah.
exactly.
My entire brain right here. This is why I understand AI, because I can multitask. No, but what it really comes down to is like I throw all of my stuff through multiple, like because I figure they can't all be wrong and they're all different. They're all built on different models, different data sets, like right. So as long as you're running through a few different AI tools and just making sure you're correct, most times, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get out of like a lot of misinformation out of your information.
Well, it also depends
And
on the
especially-
data sets that it has and it has exposure to. I mean, as we limit information, I mean, that in Germany they had the book bannings. It's only as good as the data sets that it has.
Well, so funny fact you say that. Canada actually has a law that states, or Bill C, that states we can't have our.
Oh, you cut out.
Yeah, you cut out. You gotta say it again.
So we have a
Cut out.
which
Again.
essentially.
You're getting censored.
You're getting
Wow, really?
Like, yeah.
C18. We have a bill that basically says we can't. Instagram,
Dude,
Google.
every time you say it, it cuts out.
Wow.
It's the P. I think the P is it's pissing off
Bill
your compressor.
C18, and every time you something, right?
Every time we post. Yeah,
Yep.
like a link to news article on Instagram, Facebook, or Google, it cannot be shared because we have a bill that states those companies have to pay the individual who created that content.
Right.
So it doesn't get shared. So we actually removed a way for Canadians to pass information because one company was dying. And our company, the company was CBC,
Mhm.
our media.
I listen to CBC sometimes. I like it. I like a couple of their. I
That is
grew up listening
wild.
to what is that? It's like a call-in show where people would talk late at night. You know the show.
Coast to coast.
Yeah.
As it happens, I think is the name of the show.
Oh,
I
as
can't
it
think
happens.
of it.
Dude, also props. props, Ken, for like calling out exactly what the technical issue was on the P. Like, that's some good knowledge. Like, you're like, dude, it's the compressor, it's the P, and that's absolutely what it was. Like,
I have the compressor on because I'm running a 3D print in the background because I also run a 3D printing business. So I'm just trying to keep it like not always on my end.
What do you print? P's.
So like
Is it?
That's geeky as shit. What is that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Is that Darth Vader's?
No, so do you know? Oh, it's my fiance's book, Fourth Wing. The Fourth Wing.
The Fourth Wing? No.
Yeah, so they have like this character in that. So I printed it. It's a bookshelf thing.
Holy shit! The Fourth
But I
Wing.
also can print like dragon
It's a
eggs.
dice wing. Is it a dice dragon egg or just a?
No, it's just a.
I mean, I'm not trying to knock printing dragon eggs, but why did you print a big dragon egg?
It was a commission.
Why wouldn't you print a big dragon egg?
You have a 3D. I see. So you have like a big Haas 3D.
They got a lightsaber, or sort of a lightsaber.
Just a sword, yeah. So I can 3D print whatever I feel like, and AI also has the ability to get me the 3D models to print too,
Yeah.
so I don't even have to worry about buying them.
Do you have a blocker for guns, or can you print all the 3D?
I can
That is actually what I was thinking of. I was like, I started a 3D
have
printing
unlocked
press
content. I'm
really
storing things in
near.
hard drive.
There's a TV show called The Jackal. I think he was printing some guns, and it was like a sniper rifle, and he could only print so many of those. I'm not going to give it away, but I mean that's kind of a thing in the U.S. It's like for a time we couldn't get the specs for guns, but then we could.
What's his name? Piccolo McWhoever or whatever his name was that like shot the dude on the street, the CEO guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, wait, was that a printed gun? The United Health
Was it
Care.
not?
Yeah.
I thought
CEO.
I wish that would get more media coverage because he really deserves that media coverage.
Do they? Are you for or against universal healthcare in Canada? Like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a great thing. So our problem with our healthcare right now has nothing to do with it being public. The problem is bureaucratic bloat that makes our nurses and our doctors work fuck tons of hours with no help.
Sure.
So yeah, it's literally breaking down because we just overload it. But otherwise, like, it's great to not have to go bankrupt because I'm sick.
Yeah. Our senator here, who is a libertarian Republican, went to Canada to get health care, for something specific, which I always thought that was kind of odd because he's anti-socialism or whatever.
Yeah.
I think
But yeah,
the
we have a
basic
great system.
Yeah. I also know and I'm very close and work. I'm not an expert in any kind of health issue. So if you have an health issue, it's not me, but I help facilitate people in the healthcare industry on a number of different levels. Part of it is helping facilitate them through the apps and processes and stuff like that. And you get a doctor in front of that stuff and they're an expert and they can't figure out like how to fill in the bureaucracy here. I mean, I think we paid like 40% of our income on healthcare, the average person. I can't.
I never understood that. My grandfather had a heart attack in 2011, 2012. And for a 3-day visit at the hospital, it costs $100,000.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we got that back because when we come back, we can apply to get that money back, or at least most of it. But yeah, like I was astounded. I'm like, how do people live
Was
like
he in the
this?
U.S.?
Yeah, it was in Florida.
They just go bankrupt. That's it. You're just ruined. That's it.
Bankruptcy.
It's a very common.
It's only
real
7
common
years.
story.
As long as you don't.
It's a really
have,
common story.
Yeah.
So
Good credit.
So other jobs that kind of get axed. I mean, this is always said in a negative because getting your job axed is real shit. I mean, like my job is tech and it's research and this kind of stuff. And, you know, arguably I'm researching my replacement. I'm literally trying to build myself out of a job, which would be a problem because where I live, there's no jobs that need me, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't look the right way.
That's bullshit.
You're not the so you're not the only.
That's not bullshit. 100% that's not bullshit.
But you're not
I've
the
been
only.
told I don't look the right way.
Well,
I'm not talking about acting. I'm not talking about acting. I'm talking about like jobs that make money.
But yeah, so we're gonna have. So actually, it's gonna be really bad. We are going to have the biggest job loss across the world in history. Literally, probably about 50% of people are going to lose their jobs. And it's just because we built our replacement. But given we built our replacement, what do we want to do now? We can do whatever we want. We can do this. We can build content. We can go out and help our neighbors. We can volunteer. We can go build our own houses. We can do what we want when we want it.
Okay, well, first of all, this isn't Canada, right? So
No, even in the States.
You don't go build your own house. You got to buy the land first, right? So you
well, actually,
have
no,
to
you
have
can
the
just
money.
build a house here.
Yeah, here you can't. I mean, I could go and pitch a tent and I'd be okay in LA. That would be okay, but I can't build a house, right? So, like, yes, self-actualization is perfectly fine, and I am living proof. Like, I love the self-actualization every time. But you still have to make money.
No, you
If
don't.
you can't get a job,
So this is the problem. So we still think in our terms, right? We still think monetary value. But if we're living in abundance, what is money? Money doesn't get you anything. If I can literally go.
have you been to the States? Abundance is our middle name.
There's a company in the States right now that has a patent on a 3D printer that can print anything, any food, any drink. This is real.
One of those.
Okay, I'm gonna stick a needle in your balloon really fast, just to push back. There is a company that
creates any sort of food or.
What did you say? There's a company
3D prints.
That has
3D prints.
That has a
patent.
Why do they have a patent? Answer that question. Why?
So,
well, maybe they're trying to protect it. Maybe they're trying to protect it so someone else can't get the patent so they can do stuff. Or they want to make a fuckload of cash.
It takes one person to leak the documents.
Yeah,
Right?
laws are made to be broken. I don't know.
Laws are made to be broken, right? If it takes and AI is going to be more intelligent to be able to go into the patent, literally take that document and feed it out to the world, right? So like we're not going to have lockdowns. Like information is going to be free flowing because we're not going to need to close it off.
I think Gen Z and Gen Alpha will definitely benefit from this.
So
they've
created
we're going to get the shaft. Yes.
They've created a replicator, basically.
That's pretty wild. Now, how much energy does it take?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. The technical specs are really hidden, so like I only know that it exists. Don't know much about it. So actually, there's a company. It was on Gordon Ramsay's show, where he's investing in companies.
Can't remember the name of food.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, they were doing energy drinks first, but they can 3D print food.
They were 3D printing energy drinks?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you could bring it up right now.
How do you 3D print an energy drink? Or do you because it's dehydrated and then
you do it dehydrated, add water, and then you go.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's pretty wild.
Is it Soylent Green?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, everyone becomes a vegan at that point, which is fine. I mean, if you want,
I think it's just base ingredients, right? Like boil everything down to the powders and minerals, and just add
food packets.
Huh.
I mean, I go camping a lot, and I've eaten my share of MREs, and it's not great food, and it's expensive. But it's probably not made the same way.
But yeah, like again, once we have the technology and anybody can build it, anybody can have it, what do we need to spend money on?
I think you said a lot when you said power, though, Bill.
Yeah,
I think that the AI is incredibly power driven, and we still have what natural gas or coal is our predominant resource, and we have an administration that is very anti-wind power.
So right now we have learned how to harness fusion or fission. So like the next nuclear
rather than explode.
So the next nuclear energy, we've created an unlimited amount. Like we can build, like this is lifetime energy for everyone. It's just not stable yet. So we're getting past the legislation, the red tape, all that shit is what we're gonna have to do with it.
Yeah, they're talking about putting some of that stuff in cars, and I can only imagine the caustic
Well, the
nature.
little sun. But from what I understand, like I was actually just listening to something about fusion. There's the movie. I forget the movie. It's all about cold fusion, which has kind of been debunked.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
It takes a lot of
that
energy
movie.
to. It takes a lot of energy to. Is it Will Smith in that movie? Is that who it is?
They had to fight to save the cold fusion
Chain reaction?
recipe.
You're talking chain reaction?
Maybe
That's
reaction.
Keanu Reeves.
It's Keanu Reeves. Chain reaction. Yeah, it's like there's enough power in this glass of water. That blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Oh, and also The Saint, I think, is about cold fusion as well.
Yeah, the Saint.
Okay.
I was thinking the Saint.
I think. Anyway, so this is actual fusion, but I don't know if they have the necessary energy to be able. Like we can do fusion, but the output of the fusion, is it enough to warrant making the fusion? Right.
I think it is. Like I think it's like I don't think they would be even getting as far. They didn't think that it was going to be a.
Well, I mean, it's something to input, It's like the blue LED. Like it's you need it.
Yeah. It still causes your brain problems though.
Yeah. Actually, there's a whole documentary about it, and the Japanese dude, the one guy who made the blue LED. Have you guys seen this before?
I don't think
I know that the
It's
blue
pretty wild.
LED was like one of the hardest things to make.
It was the hardest. It was the hardest. So they made the green one first, I believe, and then they were able to make the red. But this was like from I think the 50s or 60s until like 10, 15 years ago. They could not make a blue LED. Like, and the entire process, it was this one dude at this Japanese company who he was cannibalizing all these various machines and making his own. And his boss was like, "Don't do that," right? The whole thing. That's exactly what he sounded like. I'm not making fun of Japanese people, okay? Everyone can suck it. You just suck it. It's exactly. Watch the documentary. He's like, right? Right? Anyway, you should watch the documentary. It's really cool.
I'm surprised it wasn't red was the easiest because of physics. But I mean, I don't know anything
Because
about
of
it.
physics.
Yeah, well, red light is like the easiest level to see, or
Well,
I just found out the other day that purple doesn't exist.
No, it's not purple. It's
fuchsia.
the M.
Magenta?
Red, magenta. It's magenta. No, not magenta. Jesus, God, mauve. It's not mauve. Shut up.
That's not purple. I guess.
Vegas, whatever his name is, right? It's not the
It's
purple.
from Sesame
Maroon.
Street.
Maroon.
Yeah. Maroon 5. So how many chemicals are in Canada's food? Do you guys get all the red 5s and the yellow 5s?
No. Our Fruit Loops look like not food dyed at all because crap. We've literally have regulations that our food quality has to be a certain metric before it even gets on our shelves. So we go down there to get food that we can't get. Literally, it's not legally recognized here as food.
You need that red 5. Build strong bones. You're
And
right,
cancer.
by the way. Purple is the color that
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
I was very confused because I've always I like purple. And I'm like, it
Apparently-
doesn't exist.
But to say that it doesn't exist, obviously, is the clickbait. So
Yeah.
what it is, it's a perceived color. I'm telling you stuff you already know. I'm just trying to read off the internet. The AI overview. Actually, do you want to say what it is? Since
No, I'm
you're
good.
the one who brought it up.
Go ahead.
So when our eyes both see red and blue light, it's not a single wavelength. So like red or blue light would be a single wavelength. So that's purple.
So it's
We
the
don't perceive green. So we have got red, green, and blue cones. When we don't perceive green, you get purple.
sorry, you just got me into thinking about a quantum tangent. But I won't bring that up because quantum is hard enough to explain to people, let alone.
So what about AI and quantum computers?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I thought they were making some breakthroughs on quantum computers recently.
Yeah, they are. It's doing they have released ones, and everybody's kind of going crazy over this because quantum breaks our current algorithms, our current algorithm. What's it called? Hashes. It kills our passwords immediately.
Right.
So what?
Kills our
Passwords.
passwords. It can brute
Password.
force a password. Every password
yeah.
ever used in seconds.
Yeah.
But they released they came out and said they built it, but they won't say any more on it because any smart person who can crack every algorithm and everything in the world is going to set out security standards before they release any information about that because everybody's got to be protected or this shit's chaos in a can.
Mm.
Right? Just imagine a bad actor now can get every Bitcoin, take from every bank account, shut down credit cards, everything.
So there's long
so many people.
Bitcoin strings of password become instantaneously
Correct.
nothing.
Yep, and it's one of our I think it's one of our strongest encryption algorithms.
Well, but the thing is encryption is have a lock to a door, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the lock is created is based on how the door works, right? You don't just create a lock. That doesn't work. You have a door or a doorway, and you say, "Oh, how do we fortify that doorway?" Right?
Mhm.
So what I'm trying to say is, it's not that passwords can't exist, and it's not that our passwords are bad. It's that our passwords work for the kinds of doors we have. So we need a quantum door, and then you have a quantum password.
But by the time we get a quantum door, we're also going to have quantum computers at business scale, right? So there'll be an enterprise level thing you can buy. And really quickly, they will become de facto computers you run.
The thing is, it doesn't need to be at a user level, right? Because where do your passwords actually reside? The password on your computer, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Unless you have a bad actor at your computer, they're not going to hack into they can't hack into your home network unless you let them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your passwords are stored on Google servers. So will Google have the quantum computer? If it does, you're good.
Yeah, but are you not inherently afraid of Google having the power to access any of yours?
Don't they already
No.
already kind of
No.
have that?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, no, I'm not, because there's the assumption I think that people should have, of what you guys just said. You get to a certain point where it's no one is anonymous in the way that you were anonymous before, right?
Mhm.
And it's so what? Let's say that they have information on you. Okay, what do they have on you? Unless you're into the old, the bad
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
which none of us are going to say.
But
We already know
so
what we're
this-
talking about.
This is what I'm saying. They get to classify the bad, right? So
Yeah.
what happens if I say something bad about somebody and now that's
Well, they just
But-
AI avatar you and make it look like, you know what I'm saying?
You didn't?
You dig what I'm saying? What are you going to say anyway? They could just generate a bunch of
Don't go to China and talk bad about Xi Jinping, right?
Here's the thing about China. All right,
Well,
you're not going to get in trouble if you talk about Xi Jinping in China. Okay, you're not going to get in trouble if you say anything in China. If people listen to you, then you're going to get in trouble.
right.
Right. So you're walking around China, you're not gonna get hassled. I would say 9 times out of 10. But if you do get hassled, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
fucked.
we're-
Canada had a big problem there recently, and we had like just people visiting there getting locked up. So
Yeah, there's no recourse whatsoever. So that's the thing. Like with artists like Ai Weiwei or whatever, who's apparently, I don't know, I've heard some bad shit about him. He's the dude who
Bad
got
shit
like
about everybody.
beaten up and all kinds of shit. Also, his art's not very good. But in my opinion, a lot of people were listening. We know who Ai Weiwei is.
Yeah.
So yeah, the government
We
was
listen.
like, yeah, stop that dude. Or the dude, Jack Ma, Alibaba guy. You know, that guy's a fucking sock puppet. Of course. You know, you get too big, the government is going to come in and say, hey, you now belong to us.
And do you
So
think
that's the issue.
Do you think that's the line for you, Bill? When they start coming for our celebrities here for being pushing back against the powers that be?
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
Yeah.
I'm saying what I saw while I lived
No,
there.
you're talking from experience, and I'm just saying subjectively, you know, as we walk down this path of totalitarianism, because we're in a little path. They're not coming for us first because nobody gives a shit about us. But there are a lot of people they might.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Nothing will happen so long as people can ignore it.
Sure.
So the only time that a revolution or blood in the streets or any of that stuff happens, at least historically, granted, I'm saying this as though I'm like, you know, look this up. Take all this with a grain of salt. Okay? Take it with a grain of salt. But from my subjective point of view, so long as people can live their lives, they can, you know, even if they're in a cramped position and they're contorted in a little box, so long as they can have enough money to do the things they need and they can live their life, they would prefer that to potentially losing that.
I think you're exactly right. If you can
So,
eat and watch TV and go on a date
Yep.
and drink some alcohol and have
Even if
unprotected
you've got to hide it,
sex with
even if you've got to hide it, you'll still
whoever you want.
contort.
the only reason that I get to do this is because I'm now comfortably secure. Like I
Okay,
don't
so
have to worry about it.
Tell us about this. What are you talking about?
So yeah, like just trying to like do my channel, do this podcast, like get into this space. Because I've wanted to do a podcast since I was very young. Just never really found my voice or been comfortable being on camera. Actually, like you couldn't find me on the internet 3 years or the last 30, 40 years because I just literally been a ghost. I've been hiding from the so now this is my first step out being like, okay, I'm confident. And it's because I'm in a position where I'm in a place where I have a low income house. We can afford groceries. We can afford our entertainment. We can afford our life. And it's a good life. And even if we lose something, we're still in a good position. So me taking this bet to go out and start my own thing, I have safety nets to be able to do that. And I understand that a lot of people don't.
Well, I'm curious, and of course you don't have to broadcast your personals, but I'm asking you to. What are you talking about?
It's
What was
the
previous?
opposite of you, who is an actor who pays way too much money for rent every single month.
What previous to, let's say 5 years ago? Wait,
Mhm.
that's a terrible way of You know, in the past.
Yeah.
We'll just say in the past. What was the difference? You talk about confidence. So confidence is just the state of mind.
Confidence was a state of mind, but it also takes being in a space where I was comfortable. So
What? So what was uncomfortable about the previous space?
Ontario is very.
I don't know anything about Ontario.
Yeah, so I lived in Ontario my entire life, and it started out being this great community of people helping out, communities coming together, talking, and this and that. Like I'm Canadian because I grew up feeling Canadian, feeling appreciated, feeling unity, love from everybody, that kind of thing. As I grew old,
you were born in Canada, right?
Well, yes, but like Canadians, like a central, like
I see.
The Canadian style is like
cherish it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, you got Toronto.
Okay, so keep on going.
So yeah,
Toronto.
it was very. It got worse as I went to school and moved, and
What do you mean?
financial crisis. So like, people don't talk to you. It's essentially like New York, right? You walk down the street, nobody smiles, and if you touch them or get in their space, they aggressive.
Right.
Although in New York, if you break through that shell, they're your loyal friend.
Yes.
They just don't trust you immediately. Is it the same way in Ontario?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much. Everybody. So we've become this society that refuses to talk to anybody because we have so many restrictions on what. Like for the longest time, I was worried that if I said anything, if I went and dated a girl and went out and I slept with her, she could immediately go and say, "Oh, he raped me."
Right.
Right.
Well, that can
scared
still
the shit
happen.
out of
Yeah,
Well,
it
yes.
should.
But what I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure our society is so locked in that inability to
Well,
speak.
it's fear. It's fear.
Yeah.
Yes, because of fear of repercussions. I'll give you a story. When I was a kid, I had just seen Bad Boys. You know, like Will Smith. the
Yeah, my
original
buddy
Bad-
was in that
Yeah.
movie, and Bad Boys too.
Really?
But
Yeah, that's nice. But
he,
yeah.
he owned the pot shop. Go ahead.
So I went to school the next day and I was talking to my friend, and I just happened to be like, "Hey, like you're black." Like, "Hey, bro," like, right? As a kid, I didn't know any better.
Yeah, you're
But
good.
do you know how much shit I got into just for saying that?
Huh.
I didn't know any better. Nobody taught me any better. They just immediately punished me,
Of course.
right?
And
That's our society. That would have been like 7 or 8, maybe 9.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
not the
mean, when
worst
I
thing you
was-
could have said.
When I was 7, 8, 9, I don't know if we're the same age or not, but like words like gay,
That was a bad word.
we didn't even. That wasn't a bad word.
Mhm.
I had no idea that it had anything to do with homosexuality. I
Yep.
was 7. I had no clue. Someone could have been like, "Hey, look, I'm a dude. I like that dude." I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
I
As
don't know.
far as we're concerned, we don't care. Like,
Right? And so
Love is
when
love.
someone says, "Oh, that's gay," I just thought it meant it was silly, which, of course, is telling you what the culture is saying. But if you're looking at the kids, you know, I'm like, yeah, that's gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Or
be
the R
gay.
word.
Like,
yeah. Oh, and
retard.
like,
yeah.
yeah.
I knew that was bad though because I knew that you said it in such a derogatory way.
It was
And I
mean.
knew-
Well, I
Yeah.
had an aunt that was mentally incapacitated, and it was not a fun word when I was growing up.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
even if you could say someone is, someone has problems with their head, or someone actually was mentally retarded or whatever, you still wouldn't say, "Hey, retard,"
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it would be mean. It'd
But
be
you-
mean to
you-
say that.
Like it's still that's not even the way to
But
say.
you'd still
like,
go out and be like, "That's retarded," right?
Right.
Right.
It's like it's a turn of phrase. It doesn't mean anything deep. But our society is very much built around like, as soon as you say something wrong, we're gonna crush you.
And you will say something wrong, because if I
how
say,
you
for
learn.
example, if I say, "Oh, well, they have mental deficiencies," how dare you? That's not the proper way to say that. And then here in 3 years, it will be a different thing. And for example, one of my good friends, he has died, but he's American Indian. And when I was growing up, you said Native Americans.
Sure.
Well, right about the time I turned 18, 19, I was on, because I was a missionary, I was on a reservation, and I was like, oh yeah, Native Americans. And they were like, fuck you. And I was like, whoa! Yeah. And they're like, we're not Americans. You call us natives. And I was like, wait a minute. You want to be called natives? That was literally what I was not supposed to say.
Sure.
As in to go native. Like,
Yeah.
So, and they're like, we're not Indians. We're not from India. And I was like, here's the thing. You got to respect people, but they have to tell you.
Yes.
And this is something that cannibalizes itself. It's language police.
Well, it's
what
what
we've
you
had
do with
for
it, though.
a long time.
It's how you use the words that you have. And when people say, like, comedians especially, when they're like, I can't tell a joke. You can tell a joke, and you can say anything you want. I think anybody can say whatever they want. And the difference is people will judge you for whatever it is you say. Yeah.
You gotta take the heat.
But I mean, there right now, as far as I know, there are very few word polices out there. You can't yell fire in a theater. You can't, like I was thinking about that the other day. You can't.
But it's not
but
even.
You can,
it's not even
you can say a lot of words
anymore.
That's true.
So it's not even word police anymore. It's more just like eavesdropping. Like people eavesdrop and it'll just be like, that's not right. And it's like, okay, well, you weren't in this conversation, so
This is in Ontario.
Oh, I do that. Are you kidding? If I'm at a
I
bar.
know it's elsewhere. I know it's elsewhere, but I'm saying you're a troll. Ken. You're a troll.
Right in there.
You love it though. But just getting to what you're saying, Cody, like in Ontario, you were feeling a lot of that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point to where you wanted to move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's
in my life. I had a great job
there. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I had a great job, great pension. I was set. I had a home that I bought. I was set. I was so unhappy.
This is why I'm saying, like that revolution, whether it's a violent one or not, like a physically violent one or an emotional violent, whatever, only occurs when someone is suffering so much they can't continue. So what I'm trying to dig at here, and you can tell me to stop, and I will.
Yep.
What actually was so insufferable about this that made you leave, or that caused you to want to leave that bad, and to actually do it? And if it's too personal,
No, I'm just trying to figure out how to phrase it, because I'm gonna get into like deep into my life.
say it the wrong way. We're gonna.
No, but like it's gonna come up eventually. It felt like I felt paranoid at every moment of my life in Ontario. Like anything I did, if I left my house, like as soon as I walked out of the door, I had to have a shower, had to be properly dressed, had to make sure that like everything was groomed and proper and could be a person essentially. Anytime I left my house, I was immediately paranoid that somebody's watching me, somebody's judging me, that somebody was going to take something that I said and immediately throw me in prison, losing my passport, losing all this stuff. To the point where my partner actually saved me and helped me like get here.
That's wild. So, again, I can't help myself. I'm gonna keep digging.
Go ahead.
That sounds Orwellian, right?
Yeah.
Like an Orwellian state. Is
No, so,
Ontario in
like,
Europe?
but
No. Yeah. So a lot of it was my perceived intention because I am a programmer, and I know how you could do this data,
Sure.
right? So a lot of it was my perceived state, and with Ontario, there's a lot more cameras. There's a lot more eyes, right?
huh.
So it was really my really internal self. But again, like I never experienced any other part of Canada. So I didn't know any different aside from
Right.
right. So
It was not your place anymore. You needed to leave.
yeah. And I've done that a few times, even when I was switching colleges
Sure.
or because I have 2 diplomas, one for technical support or networking and technical support, and one for programming. And I switched schools just because didn't feel my place, so I switched schools. That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a different world than I experienced. Absolutely different, totally.
Yeah.
I left.
I was literally
Kentucky.
about to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, I left Kentucky because I felt like I was drowning, and I felt like people were gonna harm me. I lived in Bowling Green, and like I was a punk, grungy, whatever, and like the
Talk about Bowling
rednecks.
Green a little bit.
Yeah,
Right.
It's small town. It's probably if you've ever seen Letterkenny, I was a skid.
Yep.
in the redneck world. So
I actually my parents actually live just around the corner from where they were filming and everything. So it's
that's super cool. So I mean, like I identified with that show because we were not the same. But also growing up, I felt a lot of identity in Bowling Green and a lot of support from the culture because we kind of banded together like they did in that show. Like we stuck together, and if I had a group of people around me, I went to a Marilyn Manson concert once in Ithaca, New York, thinking, oh, this is a safe space for me, and the rednecks and behind us, and I'm a redneck. I'm from Breathitt County. I'm from the hills of Kentucky. Kind of, my family's from there, so I'm not saying that in a derogatory way because like these are my friends now, but I was wearing a Pink Madonna T-shirt, and they were like, "You're gay." And well, they didn't use that word, but
Well, you are gay.
yeah, but you're my boyfriend, so it's all good. Anyway, long story short, I was surrounded by people that were like-minded who were like, no, that's not, but I was also kind of asking for it because it was the 90s and you're non-gender reflective, and that's why I think in this day and age I'm very protective of people who want to stand out and be whoever it is that they are, because I've experienced that side of things, not because I was anything other than cis. I was absolutely cis, and it's fine. I mean, I don't have to double down on that. I mean, you can call me whatever you want.
It's like you gotta channel Bill Hicks, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not homosexual, but I know it feels good.
Yeah. And if it feels good, it feels good. And
I love Bill Hicks. It's amazing.
Yeah, Bill Hicks is great, and I was a huge fan of the comedian, and that's why I say you can say whatever the fuck you want, and even Bill Burr, who pushes things.
I like Bill Burr.
Even
Anyone named Bill.
Dave
really.
Chappelle. I
Bill,
thought he nailed some stuff. I mean, I don't agree. I mean, I absolutely dislike Joe Rogan, but
he's
that guy
in
likes him.
to me, if you go to comedy though, like you have no right to be offended.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like you're going specifically to laugh.
Especially if you paid money.
I will push back a little bit just because I have to, right? It's within, and I started drinking, so it's just dumb.
Welcome to the party.
I know, I'm a latecomer. It's 2. What time is it in Newfoundland?
It's about 6:30.
So, 6:30? Oh, so you're an hour past. Wait.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, an hour and a half. We're in half time zone. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you're like in between.
Yeah. Like we're literally between Canada and the UK.
That is wild. Anyway, right. So to push back a little bit, I can think of a scenario where you're at a comedy club and they're making jokes and people have paid to be there, and yet it is it seems rational to judge what they're talking about and say something like, this is bad, this is immoral. Because a lot of time the rhetoric these days is, hey, look, we should be able to make fun of things. Comedy should be a safe space, or a free space, especially if you have come to the show and this whole thing, which I do agree with. But there are limits to that. For example, let's say you're in, I don't know, as a bit of an extreme example, I'm going to pick on some people. I'm from the South, so I can pick on people from the South. Let's say you're somewhere in the South in the United States, and you're in a comedy club that has a lot of, ties to antebellum South, right? And you got a bunch of white people there that are making a bunch of white people jokes about black people. Now, I'm not knocking the Confederacy, okay? Which I know is, that in and of itself is a contentious statement. I'm not knocking people who are like-minded doing whatever the fuck they want to do, right? Fine. But if you could be a fly on the wall sitting there listening to these jokes, these racial jokes, I'm not even saying this happens, but in that situation, to then, have like the little video, like the little watch party, and be like, all right, are you guys cool with this? It's like, no, okay, you didn't go to the show. Cool. But is there a cultural implication, a language police, a thought police element here that is actually good? I leave it to you.
They did that. I mean, that was Amos and Andy. That was like, there was, all kinds of different shows where white people would dress up like black people and do.
Well, our own prime minister did it for a Halloween costume.
Sure. But exploit, and that's why there's such a taboo about it now.
So what my question is in comedy, the proposition that you guys were essentially making, and tell me if I'm wrong, was, well, it's comedy. So
I do get where you're coming from. I think there is a fine line, but comedy also evolves with time, right? Like, it's not like, you take George Carlin, that's basically now. Yeah.
If you go to the Netherlands, I'm pretty sure Netherlands, right around Christmas, they all dress up in blackface. Pretty sure it's
I don't know that.
Yeah. I think that it would, I think the audience has a lot to say with what you're saying. Like, if it's a group of people, if you know your audience, you're not going to run into any issues. But if you go to a place where like people disagree with you, they're not. If you're just one person in an audience and you push back against a comedian, you're probably going to lose that. It doesn't matter if you're right or not right. If the audience, it's who the audience is with.
That's kind of where I was getting at, is like, a lot of people go to comedy shows now just to boo, but it's like, why are you going there? You're still supporting them by going there.
It's interesting. Ken, I sent you a couple links, by the way. One was of that lady, and then the second was this blackface thing. It is Netherlands. It is Saint Nick. It has nothing to do with, from what I understand, with African Americans, because here's one of the things that I will say to sort of shake Americans a little bit. The rest of the world does not have our culture.
Yeah, that's true.
So they don't judge things. I mean, with our soft power, with the U.S. soft power, of course, there's that influence. But the rest of the world, when they talk about racism, they're not talking about the history that the United States has.
Absolutely.
The whole world is racist. Everywhere has lots and lots of racism, and it's their own kind. Specifically with the U.S., so what will happen is people will go to a different country and will get really angry because they're judging things based on what their culture says, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a big deal. So
actually,
you go to Netherlands and they're in blackface, they're like, how dare you wear the blackface? It's like, right, but they're not the U.S. I'm not saying it's not racist. What I'm saying is it's not the same thing.
Yes. And I kind of get that as well, because we have a lot. There was a video not too long ago that explained it was an Indian Canadian, like he came from India, and he just came across and he's like, I understand that Indians want to come here. It's a great country, but they have to come here with the understanding that they're not going to be Indian anymore, right? They're going to be Canadian.
Oh, now you're sounding American right there.
Right? But like, this is coming from an Indian Canadian who emigrated here early 90s, late 2000s,
Sure.
and said, or early 2000s, and said, yeah, assimilated into Canadian culture. And now he's like, well, I can't stand side by side with you because you're coming here and saying it has to be like where I was from, where we were from, not
Right.
Canada. And it's like, all you have to do to be Canadian is come here, say please, thank you, excuse me, and just mind your own fucking business.
And have some money in the bank, or else they won't let you.
Actually, no, our government gives immigrants money all the time.
Really?
When they don't have any money in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was a
Ours
point
used
system.
to,
You had to be
but-
educated or something.
Not anymore.
There are a lot of incentives to come in, like for money
Right.
wise.
Like, for
So-
example, like there's a huge Chinese diaspora everywhere in the world, but right, like in
Yeah.
Canada, specifically the western part, I believe.
Yeah, they bought a lot of real estate like a few years ago,
Dude,
which is also a big
Chinese
contention
people know
point.
what's up. They know what's
Yeah.
up. Like, well, they know. Here's the thing. Like, this can sound very bad, and I think in some ways it is. But I respect the hell out of cultural Chinese people because they know how to go into a place and set up and live. And it makes sense. If you can buy the land, you buy the land. If you can own the business, of course you own the business. Like, this is just good business sense. Good, own your own house. You know, have the control that you can have a community that speaks your language, et cetera, et cetera.
It's
But
a
butts
different.
up against.
It does because Canadians think it's a jab at them, but it's really not. It's a jab at our government because we're not taught how to buy land, how to buy businesses, how to do our tax, how to like even cook, clean, like do our housework. We're not taught these things, and we're expected to know them, right? And yet you bring in a foreigner who has the experience of a country where they're high in economics, they're high in teaching just basic uses of things, and like just getting you ready for an adult to be an adult, so you don't have to worry about it when you are. But our society is now like, we're now scrambling to figure out all of the things we didn't get taught. So we lose out because we're not taught how to do things properly from the base. Like, we're not taught as children how to live an adult life. And
Yeah.
we're just expected to know.
Who
Well,
is
I mean,
we?
I think
People.
I think that you're hitting on a really accurate point. I'm not that to say that you're right or wrong, but I think that that general feeling, a lot of people in the MAGA world latched onto, and there is a jealousy of immigrants coming into the country, getting some kind of stabling factor. And being allowed to, and there are certainly programs that I am aware of, and I have friends that work in these programs to try to lift up communities who are just arriving into the United States, and I think that jealousy is real jealousy. Because
I agree.
Because of what I know of my own heritage, where like my great grandparents, they didn't have power, they had dirt floors, they worked their way up, they found their way, they got their, and they worked hard for it every single day.
So the difference though is your grandparents after the war came back, and after the war, everybody got taught how to do things, how to be an adult, how to live a life, right? Like, they got taught these things as kids growing up before the war, and then during the war, they had to kind of do adultish things and kill people, which is, I don't even know how to fathom. Like, I can't fathom it. I can't kill. Like,
Yeah,
can't
killing
fathom
people is it's a shitty thing to do. It's not something that is necessarily natural, and
When
it's
they
not,
came back, they got help. They were able to establish things, and we just never taught the rest of the generations.
This house that I live in currently was built in the 30s for people. I think it was specifically for people returning from World War II. I know it's a little pre-World War
On
II,
the 30th. Yeah.
but but the neighborhood was built for returning soldiers in general.
So in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this house was built. It's kind of like
I see. A little bit
slightly
earlier.
older than, but it was this style of house that was built for returning vets in World War II. And
There's an argument.
there was some infrastructure created to do that, and I think it's what we're running into is that we don't do enough to support Americans who are getting paid shitty, or Canadians. I don't know if there's a minimum wage.
There is. Ours is a lot higher than yours, but it's still kind of shitty in terms of the end means of things.
If I made minimum wage, I mean, I would not be here having this conversation with you.
I certainly wouldn't have the time. I'd be working 3 jobs.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Well, that's the thing. So, there's this element of access, like, because of who I am, what I look like, I should say. There's a lot of assumptions made about that, and that's everyone. That's literally everyone's experience, right? Who you are, what you look like. There's a lot of assumptions, and you're immediately categorized. And whatever your culture is sort of puts you in that category, and you have to deal with those struggles. This is everyone's experience, right?
Yep.
There's a mentality, though, that I do think has some credence to it. If I am struggling to get a job, right? A job that I don't hate. Is that too much to ask? And some generations will say yes, because that desire shouldn't be a part of it. It should just be, can you do what you've got to do? But the generation that I am, right, millennials, which I'm told by other generations that millennials love to tell you that they are millennials.
Yes. Millennial
But
too.
it's a thing because it's this idea of you're like in this in between where you're not a part of the first one, you're not a part of the next one. You're kind of in the gears. And that's a struggle that neither generation understand, because they benefited either from the tail end of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Americans right now,
yeah,
and maybe Canadians, but definitely Americans. They either benefited from the tail end of World War II and excess. So they had struggles, but the future was bright.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're in the future where they're coming up and things are starting to move. That in the gears wasn't. So the struggle where you're sitting here and you're like, okay, I am trying to get a job. I'm trying to educate myself. I'm trying to be better, and nothing works. Why? Because you're in the gears. Another recession, another war, another trade dummy, another dumb tariff thing that people are all fucking butthurt over. Where it's like, oh, well, now my life is even worse. And then you can't even get what you want. You can't get the guy or the girl. You can't have enough to do stuff and self-actualize. And people are telling you, oh, that's because you're lazy. Oh, that's because whatever. And you're like, what do I do other than play video games and drink?
Yeah.
And then someone comes in and says, okay, well, that person just arrived. Here you go. And you're like, wait a minute. What the fuck? Oh, you can't say that because of what you are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem. That's a problem. That doesn't mean this person is racist or they don't like foreigners or anything. What it means is they're getting a raw deal and they have no out.
Being a citizen of Canada or the US, we're not free. We're corporate slaves. That's all it is. Because we had this structure of a work week, right? That has been around since, when was it? Henry Ford created the standard work week for 40 hours. Yeah.
The industrial revolutionary kind of thing. But yeah, I think Henry Ford was definitely like, it was a good work day for those guys. Not great comparatively, but to now. But
we've come to the point where we don't need to spend 40 hours to do even a fraction of the amount of work we used to.
And you were hinting on that before. You were hinting on abandoning. If we have our basic needs met, that sounds like socialism. This big bad word here. It sounds like Star Trek or socialism. It sounds neat. I think a lot of things should be socialized in the States that like education and healthcare, which are all bad words. But I think I had a moment today when I went to breakfast because I'm privileged as hell, and I was talking to the guy who served me the breakfast, and I was like, I don't see how you do it every day. And it is an ethical. I did go to a restaurant where like all the people that work there, they get a share of the profits, which and they used to not even tip. You can tip now. I always feel like I should tip. I know that's not necessarily it.
Yeah.
Can you tip in Canada?
Yeah, and it's getting ridiculous just like there.
Tipping culture.
I mean, if it's not 20%, like minimum 20%, like you can tip more.
I work for tips, and tipping culture is fucking awful. It is a stupid practice, and we shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what it is the employer shoving it off anyway.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
And then last night I went to a restaurant that it's an automatic 20%. Like you go 20%. That's the way it is. I think if you're a server, sometimes you tip more, and you can add more to the tip if you want. You can always pay more. But I think that we're getting into social engineering, which is kind of outside of this AI.
Social engineering is great, because this is one I actually posted in one of the servers I'm in.
Okay.
Which is a red team, blue team server. Mm-hmm. So social engineering, the implications of what AI can do. I mean, it's not even passwords. It's just both of us. People.
Yeah. But I come from the first generation of freelancers. I'm Generation X, so it's like half my people, they have real jobs, and the other half, because I'm young Generation X, we had freelance. Now every generation after ours is freelance. Like everybody's freelance. Nobody has a job. I live in a right to work state. There's no union. I mean, there are unions, but they're very weak. I don't want to go down that path at all, because I think
I have a very strong stance on unions. So
that's another.
I'm interested in knowing what the fuck do you guys think about?
Oh, so unions in Canada are interesting, because my union, I'll speak from experience. My union won't allow anybody to get fired. So you don't do your work, you still have a job.
Huh.
You can't code, you still have a job. You can't do your job, you still have a job. So unions are great until they stop getting the business to actually do work. I was doing, so one of my experiences was I was a decent worker. I was a hard worker. I wanted to show, and I wanted to build, I wanted to just progress. And my benefit for that was more work from the people who couldn't do it or didn't do it. Fine. Just more work. No thanks, no nothing. Like, just here you go. You're doing well.
This is the argument of against.
My mom worked in a factory when before I was born, and she was pressured by her fellow factory. She was pressured to work less hard because she was making everybody else look bad for working in a factory. that's just a weird story that was her experience. I was lucky
and I like unions too. Unions can be great because my mother came down with Lyme disease.
Yeah.
And her union actually helped her get some compensation from being fired. Like, so they do work, but they're corporate bloated just along with every other business out there.
Again, it's a lock and a door. I'm gonna go back. Just clap back. Why do you need a union?
So you can't. So they protect you from being fired for any reason, like for stupid reasons. So say my boss didn't like me, and I didn't have a union. He could just straight fire me.
But
whereas I can go to my union. Yeah. He doesn't. But he can just fire me for nothing, right?
Yeah.
So,
okay, so let's say you have a business. You have several businesses. Let's say you had an employee and you didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
Saying you can't fire him?
Are they doing a good job?
I'm just saying. Let's say you don't like the way they eat.
But that's what I'm saying. If you don't like them, you're firing them because you don't like them?
Yeah.
How is that a reason?
I think unions have been
unions kind of stopped
benefited quite a bit for the average worker, over the years because they have fought for healthcare, and because we don't have healthcare here, they've fought for raises, days off, vacations.
Yeah, good shit. What I'm asking is, well, it's twofold.
Yeah.
One, why do we need unions? But let me hang that. Let me put a pin in that really quick to answer this. What I'm trying to say is, it is a perfectly fine reason to fire someone, as in to terminate their employment if you dislike them.
In a private business, that is okay.
Right. That's where I'm getting.
In a private
so why
business,
do we need union?
I've been fired in a private business, and they had to pay workers' comp. I mean, they had to pay
because they were full time. Yeah.
I was full-time
like
employee, and they fired me because they didn't like me.
But you get a contract that says, like, after 3 months,
you
have no probation.
Contract.
Yeah.
You got a contract. That makes sense. Hey, we made an agreement. We got to follow the agreement. Totally cool. But if there's no agreement,
but even with the agreement, a private sector company can just go straight fire that person.
Sure, but they have to follow the agreement.
No, they just have to pay out the agreement.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, that's what I mean by following. There's an exit clause, as in you have to do the things that the agreement says.
But it's hard to do that on a scale of 1,000 people or more, right?
Okay.
You have one individual who feels like they're being discriminated against. Okay, well, that one individual now no longer has a voice.
I'm sorry?
They no longer have a voice. Like, if they're getting discriminated by their boss, there's no repercussions for that boss with a union.
Right. Okay, so this is one of the reasons to have a union.
Yes.
Okay.
It offers protections for the employee and the business.
So sort of like a voice for the employees to be able to talk to the business.
Pretty much.
But it's hard to get in a union. You don't necessarily get a lot of options to get, certainly in difficult unions to get into, like in Los Angeles.
Sometimes you got to pay $3,000 just to be involved.
Yeah. You got to be asked to be in a union. You don't just start being in it.
Or told you have to jump in the union.
Yeah, or told that you have to.
Or you can't work.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't have an animators guild union when I worked in Hollywood. Had they had that, I would have probably gotten 3 times the amount of pay that I did and the work that I did.
And that would have been good.
That would have been great. That would have been.
It is
wonderful.
a double-edged sword, though, because as soon as the union gets bigger than the business, they now control the business. They can what happens. Right.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So okay, let's bring this back. one of the statements you made earlier really pissed? No, I'm kidding. One of the statements you made earlier was like 50% of people, guesstimation, are going to lose their jobs because of AI. AI is going to change almost every paradigm. How do you think it will affect what we're talking about right now? Unions, making money, this relationship. I'm looking for a positive.
I think we're going to see Star Trek within the next 20.
You think so?
Yeah. That is my expert opinion, provided that red tape doesn't slow us right the fuck down. We will be at Star Trek in 20 years.
What do you think Elon Musk is doing?
That is actually a good question because I have something.
Well, it's actually very
I've been
related
holding
to, and it's very related to AI, actually.
No,
I have two thoughts on Elon right now. Either he's playing 4-dimensional chess or 5-dimensional chess. So either he knows, he either knows what the fuck he's doing to America and how it's messing with the entire world right now. And this is his plan because he's trying to reshape how our governments work by inciting mass fear. Or he's only playing 4-dimensional chess and he's the biggest fucking child in the world and just wants his playground.
Through any means necessary.
I was gonna go with the he's playing 1-dimensional chess poorly, and like he's not. It's not playing the game. Like he's dictating. He's and
flipping the board.
If he's flipping the board, he's literally flipping the board, and he's pissing a lot of people off. It's like we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago about AI and Terminator 2. Is AI gonna come through and eradicate us all?
No.
They're not.
There is a path that can happen.
But
I don't think we're gonna follow it.
I think that's people.
I don't want to repeat myself. Go on.
Yeah, based. But that's people based. I think if Musk was intelligent, they would be playing a little bit of the game instead of dividing the country in half. Like it wouldn't be.
Or
so my thought on that is he's not dividing the country. He's trying to unite the world.
Yeah, unpack your statements of 4-dimensional and 5th-dimensional. That's really quick.
So the 4-dimensional is.
I get it, but I want you to unpack it.
Yeah, he's pissed that he can't do what he wants to do, which is colonize space.
Sure.
Because of regulations and red tape
in
America. That is 4-dimensional.
So suck the Trump dick enough to where he can do what he wants.
Right, and the Democrats aren't going to let him cut that red tape because of DEI.
But the amount of demolishing that's already happened, you've got to rebuild. It's already going to start fresh. You're going to have something different. The 5D chess is, I think he's using this as a ploy. Like this is my crazy theory. I think he's using this all as a ploy to unite the world, to change how we think about, like how we come together as people, to change how our societies work, how our commerce work, everything. I think he's trying to terraform our society.
I agree with you, and my point is this is the problem.
No, I mean I have a lot of struggle with this because what has he actually done? What has he said or done to promote this concept? Where in the hell are you pulling this out of? Because
you gotta break the mold, dog.
Yeah, so he wants space travel. He wants to colonize Mars. He wants to put us in. Yeah, right. But that's
I understand
a lot of money.
the function. It takes a refunction. Like you would have to completely change society to get there.
Yes.
Well, and for the greater good, but what bad happens in the process?
Well, the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
Right.
You know,
but
I mean that's the thing. Like there's so many Star Trek episodes literally about that.
Sure.
Of, hey, look, if they don't got warp travel,
that's the prime directive.
You don't go in. Yeah, you don't go in.
Yeah, I get it. So I get that. and I've, not a fan of Musk. I haven't been for a long time, but I've been trying to understand, because one of the best ways to argue with someone you disagree with is to understand their perspective. One of the things that they have not done is created a way to explain their circumstance, explain their logistics and their approach, and in a reasonable way that makes any sense to anybody. You've said more like, and I have to push back on it. You've said more about a potential idea than he's ever said. And this is a person.
He's very non-emotional, right? So you got to take it. He thinks he is the king shit. No, but he thinks he's the king shit. He doesn't need to explain himself to anybody.
Yeah.
Right. He's gone as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, no, I've met a lot of programmers in my life.
But the level of intelligence I had suggests something more. You know what I mean? Like,
all right, Cody, what's your undershirt?
I got to green.
It's like, oh, Canada, motherfucker.
But yeah, I think I'm just giving him some slack, thinking like maybe he's got something that he's hiding from everybody just because he doesn't think he can do it if he tells people.
I really hope. Or
yeah, I mean, but that's the problem. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. No. That's it. It's just the fear of what if he's from South Africa and he's one of the Dutch rich guys from South Africa, and because of the way that culture is, maybe he's a racist and a hateful person.
Yeah.
What if it's the worst thing you could possibly think? And this is the problem with not knowing, with not having communication. This is like, hey, the girl doesn't text you back or the guy doesn't text you back. Every possibility is possible. And you have to go with the worst.
But why can't we go with the best?
Well, you can, but then you're being naive. You can go with the best. You can be optimistic, but if you have all possibilities, you plan for the worst.
That's why I plan multiple
Why do you bring
possibilities.
3 camera batteries? You bring 3 camera batteries because what if one is a dud?
Yeah.
What if you go long? What if?
There's no infrastructure. There's no infrastructure for the best. There's no plan in place.
Right.
There's no communication. There is slash and burn and see what happens. And that is the problem that like is creating friction where somebody with a cohesive plan, with an idea and a reasonable way of looking at the world.
That's what you say, reasonable. But he's a programmer, right?
Yeah,
he's a tech guy. We're not reasonable.
But you're also, but you described to me, and he's not a tech guy. I mean, he's bought a company. He's from money.
Well,
he's not necessarily like, he might be able to program some better than me, but he's a business owner.
Well, he's a visionary.
Trump is a business owner.
He absolutely is a visionary.
Sure.
It's just the thing is that there may be a lot of pain and suffering.
Sure.
And the people that benefit right now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. We were talking about this earlier, about privilege.
Yeah.
Everyone in America, right? And when I say America, I'm talking about North America, just America, just Canada and the US. America. All privileged.
Yeah.
Even the dude on the street out there. I'm not saying, hey, dude, you should be thankful, but I'm saying, hey, it can get worse. And moreover, it is worse. So I'm in a nice, room and all these things, and I'm saying this down, right? I'm talking down. It does not mean that it is any less true.
Yeah.
So everyone's talking from privilege. If you're on the internet podcasting, right? We're all talking from privilege. Let's get past that for a second and talk about reality. We benefit from child labor exploits in mines for cobalt in Africa. Every single one of us.
Mhm.
Everyone. You can't prove you can't. It's part of the whole game.
Yep.
Are you going to give this up?
Yes. Well, no. So I'll give a caveat to that.
No.
Do you?
What I'm trying to
Mr.
get at
Beast.
is you can get it. Go on, please.
Yeah. But Mr. Beast just did that
That
with chocolate.
motherfucker. I don't like him.
He just figured out how to get chocolate without child labor.
That's why I hate it.
It's a few
We
dollars
just
more.
have to actually do it. We have to try.
Yeah.
So a paradigm
But
shift.
I guess the what the infrastructure that Musk is in and Trump and all those guys are old guard. They're oil. They're old money. They've got the wealthiest people who figured out the solution by managing money, buying the right things together to create this stuff. And it would be naive to think that I hope for good out of this, but that's not what's happening. Like, people are confused, they're hurting, they're going in 10 different directions, and
it's drumming up some pretty shitty things. Like Ken mentioned DEIs and this whole thing. Look, I think hiring people because of race and whatnot is bad. And I personally think that is bad.
Of course.
But
And
this conversation drums up racism.
yeah, for sure. And we've been in there for like this entire episode.
reason-
We've been like
The
you know,
reason I'm
and it's always fun to talk like a bunch of white guys. Like let's bring in some diversity to this conversation and see where the
I just had a
perspective is.
conversation. Just a little bit. So actually, on one of my Arabic videos, I actually had a conversation with an Egyptian looking at immigrating over here. It's kind of interesting, but I just want to say, like, so the reason I'm hopeful, this is happening so much more on such a greater level right now. Like, just having these conversations with random individuals, posting it on the internet, it's having such a benefit. People are picking up the microphone and doing the exact same thing. I feel the underbelly of the internet. That's always been something I feel like I've always been able to do. I feel like where the vibes have been going in the internet. And while the internet has always been driven by hate and anonymity and trolling and this
In the
shit,
beginning, it wasn't.
Porn.
In the
Don't forget
beginning, it
porn.
wasn't.
and porn, yes.
It's
We
mostly
might actually
porn.
block you from Pornhub, and I apologize.
Oh yeah, Canada,
no,
by the
I
way,
can't.
is where
I can't
Pornhub
look
is
at
from.
porn. I can't look at porn in Kentucky. It's actually banned.
Great.
Pornhub should be.
So back on what I was getting on, but I'm feeling rumblings of positivity and hope in the internet, in like such a concentrated but like rapidly evolving movement. People just want to have a voice, and this is giving it to like having people come out and just talking about it. It's bringing more insight than what we've had in the last 10 years, I think. So I think
really have to go. I'm
Yeah,
running
so do
out,
I.
but I do want to push back just for a second. I think
Gonna push
if you
back
can
and
get
leave?
no, I'm not leaving that quick, but putting your face, doing it face to face is one thing. I think that text based pushing, like talking, I think that the text based comment is bullshit at this point. Like, it doesn't.
You can't relay intention.
You can't. So those keyboard and it doesn't sway elections. Certainly the propaganda does.
Need some more AI propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, and that is a huge thing. I feel
Go
like
to
we need
space.
to do another show and go down.
We can go down wherever
drink
I
your
will.
way. Go down.
Next time I'll bring
Yeah.
next time I'll bring some I can't even
Don't
think of the word.
disappoint me. Don't disappoint.
Bourbon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cody, yeah, we might have to send you some bourbon
Yeah.
to Newfoundland.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And you can represent on the t-shirt. Cody,
Yeah, I'll send you
we
the
give
t-shirt.
the last we give the last words to the guest. Anecdote, a sum up, something you want to shill, anything, whatever. Ken, are you good with questions?
Yeah, go.
Yep. So Cody, it's on you.
Just to sign off, I just want to say that I have my video posted for tomorrow, coming out at 4 a.m. my time, and it explains my position in the spectrum.
Which is
Fine.
what time in the actual world?
So 4 a.m. would be 2:30 EST.
PM or AM?
AM.
Yeah. And you
I'm an
can
early
also
riser.
click on the link that we have in the information and get notified by it.
I got a question. Why 4 a.m. then? Who are you targeting?
I'm a very early riser.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Yeah.
I wake up and I just start working. So,
Yeah, right on. Cool.
anyways, thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to coming back sometime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go down that path. I think we started warming up.
Yeah.
So
We'll
I
use
think
pod match. We'll get on there.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's plenty more you could pick my brain for.
yeah. And you know, I didn't hit on a number of different topics that I wanted to. So
Yeah.
there's
Makes
always
sense.
more.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, cheers. This has been the Geeky Gamer podcast with hosts Ken and Bill. We have a Patreon.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. It's there.
We have it.
Patreon.com/GeekyGamerPodcast. And we're going to be adding some artwork and some music. If you want to join, some secret posts.
All lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupts. Do the music. If you decide to support the Patreon, we might be able to get some music for you for free use or whatever you need to do. Couchfire Media, Art Media Productions, Twilight Relay Productions does all the other stuff, and they do it
Pretty
well.
much heckling. Yeah.
Thank you, Cody, for being on our podcast.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, come back. We'll do this thing
I will.
again.
Definitely.